There are those of our line who never ruled. Those who married into other noble houses. Their children born with other names. A generation ago or more, the blood would be thin. And yet, the dragon will only accept a dragon lord to ride it. Also say the histories. Valyrian histories. Written to gild us in glory. Are you suggesting we put a Malister on a dragon? A Tarly? It's better than death and defeat. There are records here, surely, of our line, and of those who fell out of it. There could be scores of them. It's a mad thought.
Welcome to the Unreal Hour.
Hi there and welcome to our show. I'm Fiona.
And I'm Emma. This is episode 5 and 6 of House of the Dragon Season 2, and it's called Regent and the Smallfolk.
Episode 5 is directed by Claire Kilner and was written by, I think, Ryan. And of course, Ty Mickle has a writing credit for every episode this season. Mm-hmm. And episode 6 was, let me get this right. I'm probably going to butcher this name. It was directed by Andrzej Parek and was written by Eileen Shim.
Oh, cool.
Eileen wrote The Lord of the Tides, the Viserys' last episode.
Yeah, I thought I recognised her name.
Yeah. So that was one episode from her last season, and she's done a fantastic job. I've got wee clap emojis next to Eileen Shim because this episode was wonderfully written.
Yeah.
But let's start with episode 5. What were your overall thoughts?
It was a lot of talky, lots of different scenes, just kind of dealing with the aftermath, really. It's not that it didn't... there wasn't much action.
It didn't really go anywhere, did it?
No. And
maybe with Daemon.
I think there was a lot of dealing with the aftermath and setting up for the next events.
Yeah, definitely. I wrote meh with some good bits. Some of them, like you say, there was a lot of it that was like, if there was like 2 parts to a scene between 2 people and one was in this episode and one was in the next episode.
Yeah,
it sort of felt like for example, Rhaenyra and Mysaria. I felt like, there was just a little bit of conversation about getting the small folk on side in episode 5, mm-hmm. But in episode 6 that progressed into something.
It certainly did.
Yeah, and something else. I think the peeps are calling that Mysaria now.
Right, okay.
Yeah, okay. But we'll get to that. We're still on episode 5 here. So
Corlys.
He was so sad.
Yeah. And that little single tear on his cheek. I saw the behind the scenes, actually, Claire Cole was like, I didn't know he was going to do that. He's just brilliant. He is such a good actor.
Yes, and I'm going to choose to believe that his single tear, there's maybe an element of truth in that. I think he really did enjoy working with Eve Best from seeing previous behind the scenes.
Yeah, definitely. They seem close. They seem like best buds on set, and she's going to be missed. She's definitely going to be missed. She's quite a character in herself, as well as, the character that she plays.
Yeah.
She's definitely be missed on set by them all. And there was some genuine sadness there. I feel that.
Yeah.
But so then we're moving on to the crowds on the street.
They looked horrified.
They were not impressed, were they?
Mm-mm.
Not at all. I mean, Criston seemed to be expecting some sort of hero's welcome.
That was so far from it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Gwaine seems humbled.
Yeah.
He definitely seems humbled by his experiences. And the rat catchers were just so rotten on the walls as they walked in as well. They were looking really corpse-like at this point, not like, just dead bodies, like...
Very decayed.
Yeah.
Very smelly.
Definitely. And then they open and say, then it was Aegon, of course.
Oh, that was minging.
Yeah. First of all, they brought him in this box to, it's a coffin.
I didn't realise it was him in that. I was like, I said to you, what's in that? And you said, Aegon. Jeezy, beeps.
What's in the box?
How undignified.
It's like Schrodinger's cat, It's like, until you open the box, he's neither dead nor alive.
Yeah. Oh dear.
It was made quickly. And
it's like they've taken old wooden pallets for somebody's garden.
Absolutely no treatment at all. He's just been scooped up, put in this box, and carried back down the road. In the back of a wagon or something. He's bounced about all over the place. His wounds are all infected by now. It's just gross. So much pus.
Yeah, it was the stringy bits.
Oh, I know.
Stuck to the armour. Ugh.
Yeah, so Valyrian steel doesn't melt, but...
Just gets roasting.
It gets really, really hot, so the skin underneath it melts. Oh, who knew?
Yuck.
That is so bad. It's brutal what he's been through, and, his face is really badly burned as well. He certainly...
The knee.
Oh, the knee. Oh, yeah. I totally dislocated my knee cap the other day, or my child did, while climbing over me, and then watched this right on the back hours later, and I was like, oh my God, no, I don't need to see any bones being re-knitted. Oh. It was gross. It was so gross, but like props to the makeup and prosthetics, and just fab job. They went all out, and they've done brilliantly. There was actually a bit in the after show, or behind the scenes, should I say, with the makeup department, and they were just, when you find out you're going to do a House of the Dragon, you're just like, yes, there's going to be burns. It's like, finally, our moment has come. We get to do burns. And they were so good at it.
They were.
It was very impressive. But, so somber. These moments, and the melancholy music, and the look on the Maester's faces.
Yeah, Alison was very concerned. She has that moment during our sort of opening scenes where she knows what Aemond has done, and she notices the dagger.
Yeah.
Her thoughts are very visible on her face.
Oh, definitely. And then when she does speak to Criston, it's like, and what was Emma's part in this? She's
I cannot say.
Yes, definitely. So first of all, Aemond, when he comes into the room as well, and is like, all right, okay, or you come gloat or whatever, and he's just like, someone has really said.
Yeah, there was no regret there for his brother.
No, nothing, just straight down to business. I want the beanie. Yep, that's it. Aemond wants the beanie. If you want to know about the beanie story, guys, go back to our episode 10, I think it was, of last season, when I explained the whole beanie thing. It's a long story, so if you want to know more, go back and have a listen. Yeah, but the short version is that Aemond wants power. He wants to be the boss man. Yeah, and then there's that, Alison, seeing that dynamics, just knowing something's went down, and she's going to Criston, and like you say, he's got nothing to say. I think it becomes more apparent as the episode goes on, but he was like, there was some serious signs of PTSD going on there.
Absolutely, that's not the kind of war that he's used to.
No, definitely not. He was traumatized, and he just couldn't verbalise it at all. He's thought he'd seen everything, and that was something else. It wasn't what he expected when he was plotting with Aemond. But what did he really expect? Seriously. You reap what you sow, mate.
Yeah.
Really do.
Yep.
So that was our opening. Any other thoughts on that?
I don't think so. Not on the opening part of it.
So what would you like to talk about next then?
Alison and Criston.
Oh yeah, since we're in there, we've got a little clip there for Alison and Criston, so let's have a wee listen to that.
Presumed you'd be here, seeing faithfully to the Prince Regent's commands.
Aemond is the next in line. It is the order of things.
You know what he is, what he has somehow become. Has your loyalty faded, or does it flourish only at night and flee the sunrise like a moth?
What I saw at Rook's Rest.
What? What did you see?
Their armor melted. There were men walking, they were on fire. We have given the war to the dragons. The dragon rider should lead us.
And what of justice? Of temperance, or is strength now to be our only god? So you cast me aside?
Have I not spared you? What we must do now is terrible. Will you preside over it?
Is this who you are, Alison?
I did not ask to be spared. And I did not give you leave to speak my name.
Trouble in Paradise.
I mean, they're both kind of... They're not wrong.
No.
I get it.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's right. I mean, the decisions that have to be made going forward are brutal decisions that are going to change whoever makes them.
Yeah.
In his head, he's sparing her from that. But, I mean, she's just coming from that place. She's pissed that she's been passed over.
Yeah, she's already proved herself that she can do the job. However, she's not done the job in this kind of way.
No.
And she doesn't have Otto.
No, she doesn't. She always had her father there with her, as she did. The ruling in Viserys' stead didn't happen until Otto returned after the first time he got fired. Is that right?
Yeah.
There was a big time jump after he came back. And then, that's when him and Alison were truly in control together.
Team Hightower.
It was Team Hightower, yeah. So I don't think she's capable of making the tough decisions. There are tough decisions to be made. She is going to have to call for people to be attacked, executed, strategize. She's not fit for that kind of command. As much as she is capable of the day-to-day running of the kingdom.
Yeah.
It's another thing to be a ruler in a time of war, in a time of war with dragons.
Yes, it's nothing that any of their generation have ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, but I mean, this is like, we should probably go to the Green Council clip from here, because this conversation was provoked by Alison being passed over in this meeting. So let's play the meeting, because it was just fun on so many levels.
A king cannot rule in his sleep. The realm will have noticed his absence. Let them hear of his great deeds at Rook's Rest. But now we must name a regent to take his place, until he recovers. Or does not.
A wise strategy, Your Grace. The regency will assure the people of the stability of the crown. Did you have a candidate in mind, Your Grace?
I myself served in this role of my husband. I am well prepared to do it again.
You played your part admirably in a time of peace, Your Grace, but circumstances have changed.
And here I had forgotten.
The king does not lack for heirs. The obvious choice is his immediate successor, Prince Aemond.
Agreed.
Aemond is young. And his lack of restraint has already cost us dearly.
She's very resentful, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
It is experience that offers the surest path to security. Queen Alicent ably shouldered the duties of the realm when her husband's health failed him.
Experience is valuable, yes, but the Dowager Queen is a woman.
I am no stranger to rule or to sitting at this council. Aemond is a fearsome dragon rider. His skill is best employed in the field, but my experience is needed here, at this table.
No offence was meant, Your Grace, but at a time when we must show strength.
Lord Larys?
I agree, Your Grace. It must be Prince Aemond.
Oh dear.
What would you say if in response to Rhaenyra's crowning we raised up a woman of our own?
Again, not wrong.
He's not.
But the hand speaks with the king's voice, Sir Criston. What say you?
Pass the buck.
Well, neither of them are getting to see Alicent's feet again.
Aemond is the next in line. It must be him.
It's the looks during this scene, though, at Alicent's face. Not one of them can look her in the eye.
Mm-hmm. It's agreed, then.
Oh, he's so smug.
Yeah. And he moves and he takes his seat at the head of the table. Yeah.
So then I love this bit, and all of this kind of chat is into the background, and it's just Alicent's face.
I know.
And you can just see her rage, her disappointment, all these set up chess pieces that have ruled her life, and all of these things that have happened, all the people that have died, all of this shit that's happened has just been undone.
Yep.
And she's just so pissed.
Definitely.
So pissed. And there's nothing she can do about it.
Her significance and importance just disappeared. And you're right, every decision that had been made to get them to that point was just completely undone. All her father's life's work.
Yeah.
Everything. These two at the head of the table.
All the things we discussed in season 1 about her character and the times, even all the children that she's had to have in that horrible way, you know, like, not that she didn't love Viserys in the end, but oh my God, she's just so pissed.
Definitely.
So pissed.
She was so angry.
And I love the acting because she didn't have to say a word.
She didn't. And I love the direction as well of just the camera just focusing in on her, and then you've got the sound muffled and in the background. And you can hear it. You can hear what they're saying clear enough. Just because you're just drawn into her, and you're you get dragged into your own thoughts of what's going through her head.
You ever been at a meeting and you thought you were going to get a promotion, or your idea they were going to run with that or something, and it goes the complete opposite way, and you've got to sit there and remain professional, and what they're saying goes into blah blah, and you're just so pissed.
Yes.
So pissed.
Yes. You're just like, oh no. I have to grip my teeth and smile. But there was no smiling from Alicent there.
No, she had rage tears.
Oh, big time. That was really tense. It was, I felt for her in that moment. But I have to say, I loved Aemond's first decree is cut down the fucking rat catchers. It had to happen.
Yeah.
It was just, it should never have happened in the first place.
No.
What else was going on in this episode? Did you have any other notes on that? Oh, I'm dead.
No, but the wee dog was back when the rat catchers got cut down. Poor wee sod.
Yeah, he did. He was there for a moment. Following the wee cart away, following his master. I told you he was like Greyfriars Bobby.
I mean, to be fair, it was probably more that the smell of rotting meat was about the only thing that dog was going to get to eat, so...
Oh, that's awfully cynical. I was thinking of it like a total Greyfriars Bobby moment, and you're just like, he was hungry.
I work with dogs.
Oh, dear.
So we talked about Aemond becoming regent, Criston's PTSD. What else was going on with the Greens? Oh, there was that scene with Aemond when he was eyeing up the Iron Throne, having a moment, and Helena sneaks up behind him and she's like, was it worth the price? And she knows what he's done.
Yeah.
She absolutely knows what he's done. But I think it's quite interesting, the wording, was it worth the price? Because remember, when he lost his eye, Vhagar was worth the price.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, you took out your brother, now you've got the regency. Was it worth it? I'm thinking it probably was.
Yeah, I think he thinks it was.
Yeah, definitely. More to talk about that later when we get to the next episode. But for now, that pretty much wraps up the majority of what happened with Team Green. There wasn't a lot going on there.
No.
So, Team Black, what we got? I don't know why I'm clapping my hands here. I'm feeling like lots of nervous energy, I think. I'm excited. I can't wait to get to episode 6. But I'm not going to skirt over episode 5 because it was my least favourite episode of the season. But it had some really good moments.
It did, and there was a lot of effort that went into the writing, the directing.
Yeah, it was Claire that directed 5, and, Claire's episodes have always been really good. I've really, enjoyed them. I wouldn't say there was anything I didn't like about the direction. Maybe it was the writing. I don't know. I don't want to, slam the writer and say that they're not good.
No, I think it was maybe just the point in the story. It was just... It's just a mid-season episode.
It's a hump episode, isn't it?
We always have a hump episode in a season.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is where we are. This is the Wednesday of the season.
Yes. It's the Wednesday episode.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, okay, so what's going on with the Blacks? They're all getting...
They're still moaning, aren't they?
Yes, they're all moaning at Rhaenyra that she needs to do this and she needs to do that, and they need Daemon and blah, blah, blah. And they're probably right, they do need Daemon. And Rhaenyra's just, she is feeling benched, right? That's what's going on with her. She's feeling benched. Jace is feeling benched. They're all just trying to protect each other. But Jace goes off on his own wee mission to talk to the Freys. What do we think about that? Was that bold or clever?
I don't know. I don't think there were...
No, well, that's not the right question. Was it dumb or clever?
Yeah.
Was it dumb or clever?
Well, it was certainly bold.
Yeah.
However... I suppose it all depended on the outcome, and as with most of the scenes in this, there wasn't much of an outcome, really.
No, it seemed like, I suppose the outcome was left up to interpretation. It looked like he had them on side. All they have to do is give them Harrenhal when it's all over, but then
knowing what we know about George and his writing, things may seem like someone's on side, and then it all goes...
Well, they are Freys after all.
Exactly.
But yeah, what this is to do is to allow the Starks to cross the Trident at the Twins.
I thought Lady Frey was quite cool.
Who? Oh, she was, wasn't she? Yeah.
She was a bit ballsy, and she looked like she was actually in charge.
I got that vibe as well. Yeah, she wears the pants in that house.
Yep.
Definitely. But yeah, so they get to cross there because it'll save them months of travel, going the long way around, basically. And clever phrase, building their castle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a kind of genius move. They can't play that card very often, but when they can, do they use it to their advantage? So yeah, I suppose the outcome is that the Stark soldiers, the Greybeards, can now get there faster.
Yeah.
Which is fab because battle is coming.
Also, they're freaking old, so sooner the better, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you don't want them all dropping down.
Before the old knees give out.
Exactly. So back at Dragonstone, like I say, they're all giving Rhaenyra a hard time, and Alfred Broom's giving it the whole, but you're a woman, and women are just like no good at battle stuff. And like, you've not experience of how to organize an army. And she's like, well, there's been peace in our lifetime, and you've seen no more battles than I have.
True story, Rhaenyra.
Absolutely. Shut him up. I do love it when she puts them in their place, but it doesn't do any good.
No.
Because they all egg each other on when she's not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So she maybe shoots them down for a minute right there to their faces, but as soon as she's out of the room, they're all giving it yeehaw again. I'm making the chat thing with my hand right now. Chatty hand. So yeah, she really needs to exert some authority with these guys, and it looks like by the end of the next episode that's where she's getting to.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. What else happened in 5? I feel like it's so long since I watched it, and I actually watched it this afternoon. So
yeah, it gives you that feeling though, doesn't it? You watch episode 5, and what happened at the beginning of the episode seems like a bloody lifetime ago.
Yeah.
There's so many just little bits of stuff.
Yes, that's it.
Take for it was quite dull.
Oh God, my notes are so dull. I'm looking at here like, yeah, I think I've pretty much said everything I've said in my notes here. So, later on with Alfred Broom, she does send him on to Harrenhal. Mm-hmm. And she puts forward that she trusts him because he would never let the Crown fall to Hightower hands. Mm-hmm. And she admits that she does need to bring Daemon back into the fold. So she sends him on this wee mission. I'm not entirely sure he's the right man for the job. I think she's right that she's not going to let the Greens, he wouldn't let the Greens win. But I don't like him and I don't trust him.
No. I wonder if there's an element of manipulation there as well, just get him out of the way, make him think he's doing something important and get him out of the road.
Well, if that is her plan, it's bloody genius. Love it. But trusting him with something important, I don't know. We'll just watch this space. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all that went on with Team Black. There was no really big events. Oh, yeah, Corlys. So we talked earlier about the opening scene with he's just so sad and he's single tear. But there was that really good moment with him and Bela. And I felt like Rhaenys lives on.
Yeah.
She's so channeling her grandma there. Let's actually play it.
Queen Rhaenyra wishes to name you Hand.
Even the death of my wife does not content her.
Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
And she not asked enough of my house.
It is a sign of her great esteem.
Or does she think the position will compensate me for my loss?
Pledge your peace to King's Landing, then. They will accept it most gleefully.
Loving the sarcasm.
Rather, I would sail into the west and be lost.
You have done so before. At great cost to yourself and those who loved you.
You tell him, girl.
Rhaenys was not only your wife. Not a thing to be taken from you. She was a Targaryen princess. The queen who never was, and she flew to Rook's Rest of her own will, in defense of her kin.
And she died.
She died as she would have wished to die. With honor. In Dragonfire.
Yes, she did.
The way my mother chose.
Oh.
And the way I myself wish to meet my end.
Corlys would do the same with the tides.
Absolutely, he would. She's got some fire, that girl.
Yeah.
I grieve my grandmother who loved me. But I carry her on with me. I will see Rhaenyra ascend the Iron Throne, as Rhaenys wished. As Rhaenys herself should have. You yourself may do as you see fit.
Granddaughter.
I see something in her now.
I would make you my heir.
I am blood and fire. Driftmark must pass to salt and sea.
That is such a good line.
It is a really good line.
Definitely. Oh, I really, really enjoyed that moment with her. She really perfect words to get to him. She was completely channeling Rhaenys.
Yeah.
It's just very cool. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, so Rhaenys lives on.
She does, yeah. And you can see that in her.
Definitely. She's a very strong character starting to be, she's coming into her own.
Yeah.
Definitely. She's, how many times have I said definitely now? I had something I was going to say in the middle of the clip, and by the time we got to the end, I forgot it. That was quite annoying.
I think it's lovely to see that Corlys has seen he's not alone. Everyone's not gone in his family.
Yeah.
She has stood up.
Yeah, she's still there.
Stood up to him, most importantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I don't know, again, what's going on with that definitely thing? Right, we need to stop that. We're cutting all of that.
Definitely.
And now I don't want it because you made it funnier. We'll see. Right, so, moving on. The only other thing, apart from, was there even any dragons in episode 5?
It was episode 5 where we had a little chase scene from Sea Smoke.
No, that was 6.
Is it 6?
No, there was a couple of dragon moments, nothing of note, but we'll cover it when we get to the dragon section.
Yeah.
So really, the only other thing was Harrenhal. What was going on at Harrenhal? So we've got Daemon plotting with Willem Blackwood after Caraxes has just... That was the dragon bit.
Yeah.
So that was from episode 5. Daemon looking rather intimidating on top of Caraxes, and the Bracken guys like, I'd rather rule over ash and bone than kneel to Blackwoods.
They call him Blackwood cunts or something.
Oh yeah, because we watched this episode together last week. And
well, his use of the C word, I watched the behind the scenes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Just to jog my memory. And I totally forgot about that line. But my 9-year-old was sitting next to me on FaceTime to her friend.
Oh, no.
And I went, oops, sorry. Never watch anything George Martin with a 9-year-old in the room, even if it is behind the scenes.
Yeah,
or chatting
you're always going to get caught out.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah, we almost saw some dragon fire.
Yeah.
Almost.
The budget was used up, guys.
Yeah. So, no dragon action really there to speak of. It was just Daemon on Caraxes. But then afterwards, he was plotting with Willem Blackwood, and I did clip that. Or did I? Yes, I did.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
They made their choice. You should have indulged them.
I need them alive. I came here to raise swords, not corpses.
But now you see what my house has known for generations. They are pig-headed, intransigent.
They would rather burn than succumb.
Such rage,
yeah.
So young.
Exactly the kind of men I need.
Diabolical as always, Daemon.
Those of us to achieve our ends.
We have fought them for an agent more.
Then perhaps you could try less fighting and more... persuaded.
Oh, that's awful.
They are unyielding in battle.
With his usual Daemon smirk.
But every man has a weakness.
You take my meaning, then.
Well, we all got it, yeah.
Yeah.
There are things the crown itself must not be seen to do. Show them your worst.
I am your servant, your grace.
Oh, you vile individuals.
Did he say show them your worst there?
Yeah.
Is that I never picked up on that until there. That's the first time I've noticed that.
Vile,
absolutely. He's basically just giving him permission to go commit war crimes.
Yeah.
And later on, we discover exactly
how horrific they are.
We're talking about war crimes here, as becomes evident towards the end of the episode when the River Lords show up. I meant to try and get a name for the other folk, but the lady that was speaking, that did the most talking, was Lady Mallister.
Oh, was it?
She says, "We shall not raise our banners to a tyrant." For a tyrant, should I say.
Which is incredibly polite considering what he's just instigated.
Yes, absolutely. They were raping, pillaging, abusing children, murdering children, was insinuated with Targaryen banners.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good for the crown. I mean, Daemon just keeps fucking it up for Rhaenyra, eh?
Yeah, she needs to get her man in check.
She really, really does. But he's working through some stuff. He's definitely working through some stuff. And but at this point...
Yeah, I'm working through some werewood paste.
Well, yeah. I want to talk about that a little bit more
later. That wedgy, disgusting stuff was that he was getting fired into.
Oh, no, I'm sure. I'm convinced it was werewood paste.
Like
you're going to have to tell me what it actually is for me to believe that it's not werewood paste at this stage, right? So yeah, absolutely. But we'll talk about that. We'll come back to that on the next episode. I'm going to circle back to that later, right? But yeah, what's happened here with the Blackwoods, this is wrong, and this is definitely going to come back to bite him in the ass later. But meanwhile, there's all the stuff going on with the dreams.
I think his dreams are becoming more and more disturbing.
Right, okay, so this, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the one when he was having sex with his mum.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, at this point, I'm feeling we've seen entirely too much of this Daemon dreaming malarkey. But what I will say is, just when I was starting to get really pissed off with it, they brought me back around in episode 6.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to spend too much time on that here because...
No, and I hope it's for the same reason that I was brought back around.
Oh, good. We'll get to that. Once we've done this, we're pretty much moving on to episode 6. I've wrote 7 here. That's why I'm getting confused and stuttering every time I say the number. This says 7. It's 6. Okay. So yeah, why have I just wrote Simon? Just Simon. Probably because Simon was brilliant. And I meant to go back and write more notes on it. But Simon Strong's always brilliant.
Yes.
We love him. So yeah, when Daemon comes out of that dream with his mum, Alice was looking right at him like she knew what was going on. Yeah. And then later on, when he's working in the courtyard and he's hearing the screams, and she's looking at him again like
she knows what's going on in his head.
Yeah, absolutely. She's totally reading what's going on in his head.
Oh, wait, was this the episode? Going back to the Simon Strong thing. They're like having the conversation about, well, what would you call the husband of the Queen?
No, that was in the next episode. But yeah,
I just love that bit.
Yeah,
I love Daemon in that bit.
yeah, definitely. He's like, we don't really think there's any need for that last part. It's
a bit unnecessary.
And that's the one. Yeah, brilliant. But no, that's the next one. I don't think we really saw much of Simon Strong in that one. He was more like coming in and saying, "Oh, the Blackwoods are here," and
was he not a bit more like, Your Grace,
or the River Lord, should I say?
Your Grace, waking him up every...
Yeah, there was a lot of that. A lot of side-eye. He's brilliant at side-eye. Yeah, definitely.
And the award for side-eye goes to Sir Simon Strong.
Oh, do you know what? I'm going to bring it up now. It's in the fun facts, but I'm going to bring it up now because we're talking about that. Apparently, from episode 6 onwards, Simon Strong... Sir Simon Russell Beale is no longer credited as Sir Simon Russell Beale. It's just Simon Russell Beale from episode 6 onwards. I have no idea. But it was in the fun facts. And I'm like, why? That's outrageous.
Please someone leave us a voice note and tell us. Go research this, guys. We need to know.
I absolutely need to know why he is no longer being credited as Sir. Because he is a knight. So interesting. Let's say, hopefully we'll get some response on that. So the only other thing is that conversation with him and Alice when he was doing all the work. And
oh yeah,
let's just have a wee look at that.
What I hear in the wind. Cries of anguish.
You hear that screaming?
Children being taken from their mothers, men coming home to find their doors unlatched, their wives carried away.
War is a terrible thing.
That is really disturbing.
This is not war. These are crimes against the innocent that any upright man would repudiate.
Surely you haven't mistaken me. The Brackens had their chance to do as are required. They will perhaps think better of their decision if their children's lives are staked on it.
Oh, Daemon.
Is that the kind of army you would raise? Men who hate you? Who serve you under duress?
And once they do deserve me, I'll treat them fairly. Set an example for the rest of the Riverlands to follow.
And once again, in the name of power, it's the weak and the women who must endure.
Aye.
That fool Aegon is
True
unlikely
story.
to survive. The realm will suffer if Aemond won.
It's already suffering.
You should pray you never meet someone. He will cut you down soon as wish you good day.
I'd heard the same thing about you. But I'll cross you no further. I'm sure your tactics are, after all, approved by the Queen.
Out.
Did you hit a nerve? I think she may have hit a nerve.
You cannot succeed, Alice. Even if I willed it to be so. The people who support her will not be led by her. They look to a man for strength.
Also, that's what you tell yourself.
The High Towers with their scheming, or Viserys' first true heir. When I take King's Landing, Rhaenyra is welcome to join me there and take her place by my side. King and Queen, ruling together.
And if you lose?
Then I'll be dead, and none of this will be my problem.
It's a pity, don't you think, that you never knew your mother?
Ooh. Ouch. So she's definitely in his head, like, talking about mothers right after he's having those dreams. It's one thing are looking at him like that after he has the dream, but...
Is she creating the dreams?
She might be. I don't know. No, I'm going to say no, and it brings us into the next episode, but... The very last dream that he has, the one where he's comforting Viserys when he's crying over Emma's body, Alice isn't even there. Alice has been gone for a couple of days at this point. She said, wait 3 days and the winds will turn or something. And that was 3 days later and Daemon's sitting having these dreams by himself. So I don't think she's given him the dreams after all. I did right up until that point.
How close does she have to be to give him the dreams, though? I don't know. We don't know how witchy she is.
Well, she was at River Run, so it's a few hundred miles away. I don't know if she's that witchy.
Who knows?
Shall we just jump into the next episode from here then and carry on this discussion with the rest of the progression of this story? Right, so, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. We've not completely wrapped up season? No, we're not wrapping up a season, we're wrapping up an episode. So other things that happened in episode 5 was Hugh Hammer's not being paid by the Crown.
Oh, yeah.
There was that. And also Lady Jane Arryn is not happy about being sent baby dragons.
No, she's not.
No, she was, what did you think of her?
She was alright. She was an Arryn.
Yeah, I know she plays an important part in the story later on, no spoilers, but she definitely, she's someone to watch going forward. The impression I got of her in that episode was just a bit pissed off about not getting dragons, that's all I really saw.
The impression I got for the whole episode, and it's actually just you mentioning Jane Arryn that has made me remember, I did say about Lady Frey. Although it's a very, the Smallfolk won't take a female regent seriously, blah, blah. It's all, and in Game of Thrones, it's all women that are the important figures here that make all the decisions. Did you get the feeling that she was not entirely hateful towards Rhaena?
Yeah, she's not. I think she's got any reason to hate her.
No, but at the start of their wee thing, she came across as a bit, I think it's just my
She
way
seemed
with
put out at having her there.
anybody in George's writing that's a little bit put out. They're cutting throats, they're chopping heads off, they're chopping hands off, they're, like, just bad juju is going around in George's books. Like, there's never a happy ending.
Yeah, he writes some pretty disturbing stuff. We'll get to that in season 3, I think, and 4. Maybe even a little this season. Well, yeah, I mean, George didn't write Daemon banging his mum.
No, that was pretty disturbing.
That was disturbing. I don't really feel like he got anything out of that dream. Again, we're jumping about, but I think we were going back to Daemon anyway, and I think we were done with Lady Jane. I don't think he really got... I don't see how the sex dream with his mum, helps his, mental journey in any way, shape or form. And other things, he's facing his demons. But the things that his mum was saying they were validating him. They were telling him that he was better suited to the crown than Viserys and all that sort of stuff. And I'm just like, well, that's not what he needs to hear. And then right after that, he's saying what he says to Alice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So is it Alice messing with him? Is it Harrenhal messing with him?
I think it still remains to be seen at this stage.
I would really like it to be the werewoods that are just coming up from the earth and just fucking
Well, they're
with them.
growing through the...
Yeah.
The weirwood system appears to be like this really large underground system. When you think about the cave that Bran and Bloodraven are in, it's like the majority of this tree is underground, and the bit above ground that we see is like a little mushroom popping up, whereas it's got this huge root system below ground. And when you chop down trees, you don't get rid of that.
No.
That's all still there.
I want it to be spooky trees.
And
I want
trees
it to
do
be
that.
magic. And I want
cutting
it to
trees
be...
can grow new shoots and things that grow out. I mean, the trees are still there, even if you cut down.
Absolutely. I weed my garden every year and these same weeds come back.
Aye, in exactly the same place.
Yeah.
Totally. So, yeah, I think it's... Look, Harrenhal is definitely playing its part. It really is. But, I mean, we saw Alice give him the werewood pace, and he was a dribbling mess afterwards.
I just want Alice to be like an agent of the werewoods. That's what I want. That's what I want to happen.
Well, at least we got confirmation that she's a real person in episode 6. Because up to now, people have been speculating whether Daemon was hallucinating her.
Yeah.
Hallucinating her.
Say that 3 times really fast.
Hallucinating her. Got it.
Elocution with the Unreal Hour.
Excellent. People were thinking that she was a total figment of his imagination, and at least we've got confirmation she's a real person, because Simon Strong referred to her going to Riverrun to treat poor old Lord Tully. It's brilliant in itself. We'll get to that. I need to do this in order. I'm going to it's going to mess with my head. Right, we'll get to that. So the first one in episode 6, not 7, 6, was Daemon's throwback dream, with Paddy. And it's like...
Paddy's back!
Yay, Paddy! We missed you. He was so much fun in the behind the scenes, wasn't he?
I didn't realise how thick his actual real accent is.
Oh, it is very thick.
I was pissing myself.
Yeah.
I love him even more now. He's brilliant.
He was the life and soul of the set, wasn't
Absolutely.
he? Everybody seemed really pleased to have him back, and he says it was like the king had arrived. I love that. But yeah, it was great. But this scene, where it was the same scene that we've seen before, but they've refilmed it. And whereas the first scene was, I actually meant to go and clip them both to play them side by side. Mm-hmm. But if you guys get a chance to do that, go and have a look at it, because the first time it was so angry. This one was dripping with sadness. Every word, every line. It was the same dialogue, but he was just so sad. It was like, it was just his soul laid bare. And it was quite moving. But Daemon wasn't ready for it then. He really wasn't. He's like, let me out, banging on the door and stuff. But did you have any notes on Paddy?
Just love Paddy. Paddy's brilliant.
Just all the Paddy love.
And I kept looking at his wig.
Oh yeah, to try to figure out which one it was.
Yeah.
I think it was Pretty Pony.
Yeah.
I think we were in full blown Pretty Pony at this point. Yeah. I mean, Emma hadn't died in the first episode, so yeah.
So it's got to be.
Yeah, it's Pretty Pony. What's the behind the scenes? If you look on our Facebook page, I posted the video back then. If you scroll down, you can find the making of video with all Paddy's makeup stuff and everything, and he talks about his wigs there. I can remember what were they again? So Pretty Pony,
Scabby Pony,
and there was one that he didn't actually give us the name of, and then there was
Ball Bag and Beyond Ball Bag.
Yeah, Beyond Ball Bag was the final one. Yeah.
That's the one he took home.
Yes, autographed by all the crew.
Yeah.
Totally. So there's no way that Beyond Ball Bag is making a comeback. They'd have to make a new one.
Yeah.
But so totally looking at the wig. Me too.
Oh, good. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
Definitely. That's because people have seen that video.
Yeah. I quite liked what he had to say about when the king dies and they make these massive stone head things.
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
So is this thing made of polystyrene or something? And they
the statue,
carve it out. And his wife said, "Oh, are you taking that home?" He's like, "It won't fit in the fucking garden."
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a good moment actually. I don't even remember seeing it in the episode. I just saw it in the behind the scenes. Might have to look out for it again because I will watch this episode again. This was a good episode.
It was.
And do you know what? It was funny actually because I watched it my when it was new, and then watched and took my notes, and then when I went to go and watch it again I wasn't watching it again, but I was getting the clips. I saw things again that I hadn't noticed on the previous watch every time, and then I rewatched it again just for a wee reminder just before you came round, and I saw another couple of things that I hadn't noticed before. Because every scene was just dripping with brilliance.
Yeah.
It might have been a look on someone's face or just something in the background, but I just kept noticing new things every rewatch.
It was a good episode.
Very good. So to bring me to one of my favourite points of the episode that just never gets old, Daemon's banging on the door and he opens it and he bursts into the Harrenhal dining room and the paranoia is dripping off him. I clipped it. I have to clip it because it was just so brilliant, and Simon Strong's shushing him.
May I be of assistance, Your Grace? What are you playing at, old man? I do wonder, Your Grace, if you're getting enough sleep. This old place is...
Oh, dear.
Sit! Or are you perhaps the culprit who's been tampering with my peace? A friend by day and a foe by night. To what end? To mine, perhaps. Perhaps.
Oh, he's manic right now.
Perhaps. You are an agent of the Hightower rabble. Or are you still in league with your club-footed nephew, or is it Rhaenyra herself?
Oh, God.
Sorry, Your Grace.
I love that. So cool.
Whatever your game is strong, I assure you, your king is on his guard.
I'm watching you.
And stop watching me.
I love this moment because they just... everybody's eyes are averted. It's so good. Oh, dear. Oh, that was so funny. And he just totally did not know what to do. So he just resorted to shh. And it worked. I think he might be the only person in history to ever shush Daemon.
Yeah.
But he delivered it so well. His face.
He was having a major meltdown.
He was losing it. I'm not surprised though. Like everything that's been going on in the dreams and waking up and and he's in the middle in a room that he wasn't in a minute ago, and we're out in the Godswood and shagging his mum.
His dead brother's there.
Yeah. A minute ago he was in the throne room of the Red Keep, and now he's in the dining hall of Harrenhal. He's having a hard time. He's really losing it. I love this part afterwards though. Like, he's like storms out with the bag over his shoulder. And I know it's a dragon bit, but we've got plenty for the dragon section. As Caraxes lifts his head up, he's like, "We're going somewhere, boss." It just senses Daemon storming out the door. It's like, "We're going somewhere." And then, halfway through the conversation with Alice, Caraxes is like climbing over, peering over the wall, going, "Are we going or what?" Because you could sense that Daemon's starting to change his mind at that point. Anyway, now I'll play the Alice clip.
You weren't going to bid me farewell?
There's something wrong with me.
No shit.
Someone poisoned me.
There's a few things.
The wine. Or else it's this swamp air or...
The ghost of Harren the Black moaning his curses from Kingspire Tower?
Drivel! All of it! The ghost, the curses, the blasted weirwood bed, I'm done with it.
Ah, yes, it is your way, is it not? When something does not please you, you run. Dragonstone, Stepstones, Pentos, Harrenhal.
I wake and I do not know where I've been.
It's creepy how well she knows him.
Yeah. In this world, than you, or I, or a living memory. You are not the player, but a piece on the board. As am I, for that matter.
I'm not like you.
In some ways, no. You struggle to see there's an anger that blinds you.
She never even wanted it. The crown. She spared it no thought.
Well, that's perhaps why your brother gave the crown to her. Perhaps those who strive for it are the least suited to wear it.
Don't lecture me!
You tell him, girl.
Viserys never wanted it himself, if you recall.
True story.
He came to him, and he did his best. It's not a prize to be won, but a burden to bear.
Absolutely.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, or something like that.
Yeah.
Caraxes' moment.
If you have any counsel for dealing with the River Lords, I'd be glad of it.
Don't be a cunt.
Daemon Targaryen asking for help.
Counsel.
House Tully is not the largest house in the Riverlands, nor is it the richest, but it is the most stable. Tully's wisdom has kept the river houses in line for centuries. They would kill each other to the last man if it were not for their liege lord.
That dotard is of no use to us.
But Grover Tully is their lord paramount. Without him, they will never raise their banners as one. Rivermen are made of mud.
Caraxes is getting impatient.
And yield 1 inch to one another.
Then I can do nothing.
You? No.
I need help, Alice.
Yes, you do.
Do nothing now. In 3 days' time, the winds will shift.
At least he's willing to ask for it finally.
Yeah.
How ominous. In 3 days' time, the winds will shift. lady got plans. And now we all know what that means.
Yes, we do. I'd still, why is he not questioning? He doesn't question her at all.
No.
He's just like, yeah, I
how do you, it's not like, how do you know all of this stuff?
Yeah.
How do you know what I was up to in Pentos?
Why is he suspecting everyone but her? Do you know, it's really weird.
Maybe that's the spell.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she's a very witchy person, definitely. But you're right. Why is he not? He thinks everyone's out to get him.
Except her.
He's still like, I need help, Alex.
I need your counsel.
Yeah.
Do I? Don't know how you do.
But will you listen? So then he has a second dream, but like I said earlier, she's not there. She's away at River Run by this point, and he has this second dream with Viserys over Emma's body, and I feel like this was the breakthrough. There was a real breakthrough here with him. He walked in and he just saw his brother in pain and he comforted him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very moving. What did you think?
I just thought it was another mad dream. And I was just glad to see Paddy, if I'm honest.
Oh, fair. Fair.
I think I'd got to the stage with the dreams, like we were saying, that I was like, this is becoming ridiculous now.
Yeah.
And the thing that brought me back to, oh, yay, with the dreams, was literally just because Paddy was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yay, this is way, way more, I can tolerate this better than that creepy weird. Like, I didn't see the point of the other dream.
No, I didn't.
Whereas this one, I can see the point. It's evoking something in
Yes,
Daemon.
It definitely was. And this one definitely moved them in the right direction. And we saw that right afterwards. You know, he comes out of the stream, he's interrupted. And I have that clip.
Do you not get a vibe that, I mean, if it is Harrenhal or the Weirwood or whatever it is, that it's kind of pushing him to, you be king. You be king. I think it is.
Okay, spoiler section.
It's like his backing up is, you should be king.
I don't see it.
No.
No. And no, I don't think it's backing up anything. I think it's exactly what Alice is saying to him in that courtyard.
It's like, because
he's trying to show him that he's just a piece on the board. He's not destined for great things, and
he's not.
And the way that he wants to be, he has a great destiny, an important destiny,
which he won't fulfill if it doesn't keep pushing home the, you want to be king. You run with that. You need to run with that. That's your thing. Because if he doesn't keep going with that, what's he going to do? He's going to go back to Dragonstone. He's not going to go down the path that we're not going to spoil.
Yeah. I don't.
Because all of these wee bits that it keeps saying to him is all of his thoughts about, it should be me.
I'll have to see how it unfolds. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like it's sending him on a journey of self-discovery. I don't know. I mean, yeah, his mother's, it certainly felt like it was pushing him to
every
be king.
conversation he has is with someone from the past, and it always goes back to his, it should have been me feeling.
Yeah, because that's the feeling he doesn't want to let go of. Not because that's where it's steering him. It's him that keeps pulling himself back to that feeling. I think these visions are trying to pull him away from it.
Oh no, I think they're pushing him to meet his end.
Oh, this is interesting. We're like totally seeing something oppositely. I like to see how this plays out. Okay, well, we'll just have to watch next week's episode and find out where this goes. So anyway, he comes out of this moment with Paddy, and there's, and I've got the clip here of Sir Simon.
Sorrowful news from Riverrun, my king. Lord Grover is dead.
Oh.
Oh, he delivered that.
I wonder how that happened.
The old man.
Indeed. Young Oscar Tully is now Lord Paramount of the Riverlands.
Well, that should go well.
What was the manner of Lord Grover's passing?
Well, he'd been ill, of course. Riverruns maesters have been at their wits' end. Our own healer, Alice Rivers, volunteered her renowned skills.
Did she?
Applied her craft, but...
Oh, the smirk on Damon's face here. Brilliant. Utterly brilliant. Maybe just claps down himself. I don't know if it's Lord Grover dying that's making him think about Ceres dying, or just because he'd just come out of that moment with his brother crying on his shoulder.
Maybe he's just exhausted.
He certainly isn't getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, total. He certainly had a moment there. It was quite strange to see Daemon so vulnerable. It must be so strange to, be in that situation. Like, I've never sleepwalked. I can't imagine what it's like to just come to in a strange situation like that. But Damon's been doing a lot of that recently.
You've never been drunk.
Yeah, but
I've come to in a strange situation a couple of times. How the fuck did I get home?
I don't know. I'm like the most boring drunk ever. Well, I'm not. Like, I go out, I have fun, I have a laugh, but I always make it home, and there's only like half a dozen times in my life I think that I've been total blottoed, can't remember the night drunk. Maybe 10 times in my 40 odd years.
Jaeger does that.
Yeah, one of them was Jaeger.
Yep.
Definitely. Two of them were Jaeger. Two of them were Jaeger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always make it home though. However, a few times I thought, Jesus, how did I get home?
Yeah, the how did I get home thing, that's happened a few times. But I can remember all the rest of the night.
You cup with mysterious food in your handbag? No idea how that got there.
Oh, yes.
When did I buy that kebab? Not a chance.
Definitely.
Why does it smell like that?
Because it's a kebab.
Yuck. So yes.
No, you're right. I've definitely done that whole, like, I know when I left my friend's house or the pub or whatever I had my wits together. I remember getting in a taxi.
However, my taxi journey has been wiped from my memory.
Yes, that is it.
A recollection of putting my keys in the door.
Nope.
Still in my clothes the night before, so that's all good.
Yep.
Did I saw the pillow?
Apparently I spoke to people in the house. No memory of these conversations. I've done that a few times. That one has happened. But not when I'm out and about. I've not done the out and about, how did I get into this bar thing. I've never been that drunk. Oh, yeah, Emma has. Oh, well. That's a story for another time.
Here we are. I'm still alive.
So, my real takeaway from the Harrenhal scenes is that Alice Rivers is real, confirmed. That is it. That's all I needed to know, really. But yeah, I do feel like we've been doing this dream thing with Daemon for entirely too long now. Like, it's gone on a bit too much. But this week was better. And that might just be because it was Paddy.
Yeah, I think so. I think Paddy's made it all better.
Paddy has made it all better. And the fact that I feel like we're starting to have a bit of a breakthrough with Daemon. But time will tell. So we have done Daemon and Harrenhal and Alice to death for both episodes. I think it's time to talk about something else.
Cool. Okay.
What do you fancy?
Well, let's talk about Laris. I do love Laris in a weird way.
Oh, yeah.
Not in a weird feet way, just now. He is hilarious. That guy is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, he really is. Yeah, so there's a couple of Laris scenes actually in this one. Let's do the Aegon one first, because the Aemond one will lead into quite a lot of things we need to talk about Aemond.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's play that clip. Oh, he's in so much pain.
Yeah.
No more.
My lord, only the Grand Maester instructed me to.
The king will be most eager for his draft in an hour.
Right now, I need him lucid.
Yeah.
The drink takes the pain away, but it dulls your mind. Don't take heart, your grace. You've already written yourself into legend. You survived Dragonfire.
What's his game?
I don't know, but we're going to talk
But
about
I'm afraid
it.
you will never be whole. Orwell has exhausted his abilities. He's bound your leg. But you will never run again. Your mind is all that remains to you. Do not say that gladly.
Could be a double meaning there.
He was screaming into the world from the bowels of one of Harren's great towers. My lungs were strong, but my foot was so twisted that my father named it sorcery, accusing a member of our household of casting malign spells.
I wonder who.
Maybe Alice.
Maybe.
She's said to be very old.
People will pity you, either behind your back or in your presence. They will stare at you.
I want to believe he's being genuine here.
Or turn away.
But also, it's Laris. He's got nefarious intentions.
And they will underestimate you. And this will be your advantage. No. No.
This is after the Aemond scene, yeah?
Yeah.
This is
Your brother rules
self-preservation.
in your place now, which means that your life is in danger.
My life is in danger.
Yeah, my position is in danger.
His position is his life, isn't it?
Yeah. Because fuck going back to Harrenhal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of him in this scene? Just this scene.
It seems like the only time we ever hear him open up about himself.
His vulnerabilities.
Yeah, he never seems to go back and talk about his childhood or how he feels about anything in a true sort of sense. This
You never
seems
saw him
about
grieve for his father and brother for a second.
No, well, we know why.
Yeah. He didn't even put on a show.
But he's just so creepy and awesome.
Yeah. Again, Matthew played a blinder there. There's that little tear as well.
Yeah,
Did you see the tear?
yeah.
He was crying. I don't know if he was...
He's crying for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing what all actors do. They draw on their own pain to get their way through the scene, you know. That really big emotional stuff. And that is what Laris was doing there. Not Matthew. That was what Laris was doing to, you know, connect with Aegon, to get him on side, make him feel like he's the only one that's got his back. Because he probably is.
Yeah.
But it's true. Everything he says about Aemond is true.
He does seem to be lost in his own pain for a minute there and oblivious to Aegon's pain.
Yeah. For a second, yeah.
It was like a really weird counselling session.
Yeah. He definitely just drifted off for a second there and was really feeling. That was the first time we've ever seen him feel anything.
Yeah. Oh, God, if that's what it takes to get some emotion out of him.
He's one creepy little dude, isn't he?
Oh, he really is. He's hilarious.
Brilliant. which brings us to his scene with Aemond, which was before this scene, but, you know, just to make the podcast flow, because this is all about Aemond really going forward. So let's do the Aemond scene.
It does occur to me that your grace has yet to name a hand. Sir Criston, of course, served your brother, but you need one who may advance your cause with shrewdness and subtlety.
Do you take me for a fool?
On the contrary, my
I have
prince.
little patience for the self-important Lord Larys, and even less for flatterers and lickspittles. But you are, as it happens, correct. Every king needs a hand. I'll make it your responsibility.
My prince, it is an honour I'd never considered for myself.
Not a service hand, you toad, perpetual. Send word to Otto Hightower. My grandsire may be overcautious, but his devotion to his family has never been in doubt. You'll see it done.
I love everything about that whole clip. That whole thing was brilliant. The beginning, where he's like, yes, well, I'm going to have to paraphrase here, but stop fucking with hangry people. You can't reason with them.
No.
They will just be cunts to anyone because they're hangry.
Yes.
In his lick-spittle voice that he does. It's fucking brilliant. He's so manipulative. Aemond can see him with one eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, fuck off.
And he's usually such a master.
Yeah.
But it's the second he starts and he's like, but you do need someone by your side.
I love it that he just waits. Mm-hmm. He waits.
He lets them put it, gets out there.
And then he's like, piss off, you toad. I'm phoning my granda. No, but brilliant. Love it.
It was so good. And he just, as soon as he starts to speak about the hand, and he's like, oh, hi. And he leans in and he's
going with this.
Yes, I know, but carry on.
And you're right. The first time I watched it, I didn't hear you toad.
Yeah.
Until I looked out for it that time. Yeah. I didn't rewatch. But
right. But yeah, I didn't see the first time either. I saw it on an after show. Somebody mentioned it.
Bloody brilliant.
And I was like, what did that happen? So the next watch, I was looking out for it. Brilliant. Utterly brilliant. Do you know what it actually makes me think of? My friend Sarah's got this sign on her wall in her bedroom, and it says, I'm somewhat of a bullshitter myself, but occasionally I enjoy listening to an expert. Please carry on.
Yeah, no, perfect.
Yeah, that was it. I just loved it. Aemond was brilliant in that, but Aemond was just brilliant in this entire episode.
Yeah.
I just laughed so much at him. Shall we do more Larys or shall we do Aemond?
Let's move on to Aemond.
Right, okay. So, first of all, talk about the serial killer vibes. Like, what the hell? He was so creepy.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's this altogether, he's got anger in him, but he just seems to have a lid on it. He's so cool.
Repressed.
Yes. That's another word we could use. But it's just, so in this scene, he shows his anger. He's absolutely raging. Jason Lannister demanding that he sends, that he comes on Rhaegar and joins them before they move with haste. And he shows this little anger, but throughout this entire episode, other than, this one moment of a little bit of rage, he just shows complete and total, I'm the boss.
Which is a completely opposite dynamic from what's going on with the Blacks.
Yeah. Or even what was going on with Aegon before.
Yeah, he's bossing this council.
Yeah.
And yeah, with Aegon, with Rhaenyra, the council are quite unruly and quite cheeky, actually.
Oh, they're out of line. They are absolutely out of line. But we'll get to that.
I think the comparison I was making, though, was that although he's bossing his council, he's a knob. And his decisions are absolute shite. And they're of no use to the small folk. He's just going to napalm everything. Whereas Rhaenyra, I think she's going in a bit of a weird direction.
She's been a bit whiny, but we'll get to that.
She's getting a tad fanatical, I think. Continue with Aemond.
Let's continue with Aemond.
So I think there is a huge difference there with Aemond's approach and Rhaenyra's approach.
Definitely. He is handling it like a boss. He might not be making all the right decisions, but he is making them like a boss, which is why I named these clips Like a Boss Part 2, and Mother, a Word.
I think we should hear those clips now that you've mentioned them.
Do that.
For that.
He dares to summon me with haste. Are the Lannisters so diminished that they cannot march from the Tooth to Harrenhal without an escort?
Oh, he's angry.
There's a large dragon in the Riverlands, Your Grace. My brother's army is strong, but it does seem
I am the Prince Regent, not a dog to be called to heel. Tell your brother that if he does not deliver his host to Harrenhal with haste, Aemon's dragon will become the least of his worries.
Your irritations are justified, Aemond, but it does seem...
I have a task for you as well,
Oh,
Sir Dylan.
she was shut down. He just completely sidesayed, doesn't he? She's not even in the room.
Yeah.
Right? And then he comes over and he hangs over Tywin Lannister's chair. Very sinister and serial killer-like, whispering in his ear, threateningly. And there's the low speaking voice, and basically he's saying he wants to keep the Triarchy busy while the West Coast ships can make their way around to the East Coast. Yeah, he wants the Triarchy to keep the Blacks busy while the West Coast ships sail round. And that's, I've heard that's like Westeros is, supposed to be the size of Europe, really. So picture that they have to sail down the coast of France, the west coast of France and Spain to get to the south of France. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much the journey that these ships have got to make. It's going to take them months. So in the meantime, he wants to pull in the Triarchy to mess around with the Blacks to keep them busy. This is not a good decision, but I can almost see tactically why he wants to do it. But the Triarchy themselves are, like Alison says, not to be trusted. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. If he could trust them, it would be a good plan. But these guys have been hanging around for the last 20 years. It's been the background conversation of every small council meeting all the way through season 1. And they're trouble. So, meanwhile, he starts pacing and he's eyeballing Alison while they're all having a conversation. He's not, he's not interjecting. Like you said from the previous scene, he listens. Mm-hmm. He sees how it all plays out, how the conversation plays out. And then if he doesn't like the way it's going, he shuts it down. So that brings us to Like a Boss Part 2, where Criston Cole tries to interject his opinion.
The Red Kraken waits, seeking his best advantage. Though we may draw him in with honey, if it comes to it. An offer of marriage, perhaps, to the Dowager Queen.
Out of the question.
Oh dear.
Alas.
The Dowager Queen speaks wisely, Your Grace. Even if the blockade could be broken, are we to invite these alien raiders into our waters so close to King's Landing?
It's time you set out for Harrenhal, I think.
Your Grace, if Daemon prevails in the Riverlands, I no longer have the numbers to challenge him. We lost much at Rook's Rest, as you all know.
The longer we wait, the more chance he will prevail.
But yeah, he is just shooting people down left, right, and centre. He's not even acknowledging Alison's existence at that table. I just love the way with Criston, though. Criston's like, the Queen Dowager is right, and blah, 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 blah. Time you left for Harrenhal, isn't it?
Are you still here? Get your coat.
Absolutely. And do you know, I'm thinking about this thing as well. It's like Criston and him were best buddies a couple of episodes ago. You know, with their little conspiracy, because it served his purpose.
He was also his male role model.
Yeah.
Growing up. So he's gone mad with power, hasn't he?
He has a bit. But at the same time, while he's making very, very harsh decisions, right, he's at least making them. And like, what was I going to say? I completely lost my chain of thought there. What did you just say?
He's an arsehole.
Right, okay.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. Yeah, he's trying to exert his authority. Sorry, I know where I was going with this now. It was the Criston Cole thing. He doesn't really need him. He knows that him being Hand was not the right choice. Whether or not he admires him in many ways, and whether or not he can use him in other ways, regarding the war, him being Hand of the King was not right. And despite Aemond's mistakes and rash decisions, I don't think that's really one of them.
No.
And I think removing Cole from that position is a clever idea. But it's just such a turnaround from the two of them in last week's episode, in episode 4, in cahoots, with these big battle plans. And now he's like, time you left for Harrenhal. So, fun times with Aemond. And then, of course, we have Mother, a word. Let's play it.
Mother? A word.
Ooh. He's really doing it like a boss now, eh?
Yeah. I caution you, Aemond. Boldness is one thing, but overconfidence.
Reminds me of your place on the small council.
There he goes again.
Yeah.
Not answering the question.
You know very well I represented your father during the last years of his life, and I have been a counsellor to Aegon.
Capably so.
It's the first time he's acknowledged her.
Mm-hmm.
Father's dead. Aegon is...
There's that I gave you last week.
You served the realm well.
Past tense.
Time of need. That need is ended. You are no longer obliged.
It's not a matter of obligation. This counsellor's need of a tempering voice.
But more than enough of those, if you ask me.
You have the impetuousness of youth. And its arrogance. Neither of which is to be desired
I
in a
release
king.
you of your seat, such as it was. I'm sure you'll be much pleased to return to more domestic pursuits.
Oh, he's Aegon the sentence killer, isn't he?
He is. He's just shutting that shit down. Everywhere he goes. He has been spending his whole life going, if I was in charge, and now he's got a chance to execute all of that.
Teeth out of his bottom lip and he's letting rip.
Absolutely. He's kind of scary.
Yeah.
With that, Alicent is benched. And she leans into him and she's like, have the indignities of your childhood not been yet sufficiently avenged? And there's just this moment between them and it seemed to last forever. And his face was just so hard to read. And then it changes. And then he gets up and he walks away. And you have the gratitude of the crowd.
Wait, which point in the episode is when someone comes in and says the king has regained consciousness? And he's like... Oh.
It was at the end of that Laris clip.
Right.
Yeah, so at the end of the conversation with Laris, that's when you heard the door opening, and that was Grand Maester Orwell walking in to tell them about that. He also does the same on Aemond when he's having his quote-unquote conversation with his brother. The Grand Maester Orwell did a lot of walking in on people in this episode.
Yeah.
But he walked in and he broke up that tense situation in the small council. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I suppose that brings us to the misery scene. because I couldn't think what else to
Oh,
call it.
no, that's quite aptly named.
Yeah, I was getting total misery vibes from
Yeah, it was
that.
awful.
It was. First of all, Aegon is. Oh, he can barely. He was, just and the pus and the bandages, and he's just always. He's in so much pain. Grandmaster Orwell mentioned his breathing, but you could hear it in that scene. The breathing is just.
Yeah,
He must have inhaled some dragon fire or something.
He is regretting every life choice with every breath.
Yes. And probably that last flagon of wine before he got on his dragon.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
He looks horrific. The makeup department have done such a good job.
They're so good.
Like, he looks so bad.
I am so impressed with it. It's just, it's next level artistry.
6 hours of makeup, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah, 6 hours of makeup. And I think he was an absolute trooper through it. I mean, it takes a lot to... And then to still have the energy to go and shoot these scenes for however many hours it takes to get right afterwards. So, yeah. Oh, I did clip the misery scene, actually. Shall we hear it?
Yes. As gruesome as it is.
I'll see my brother. Alone.
Oh, Sam is in so much pain.
Yeah. His breathing's very laboured.
Yeah. Oh, that's creepy.
So was that.
You challenged Meleese. It was foolish.
I remember nothing.
My prince.
You're in the most capable hands, Your Grace. Seems my brother has a long recovery ahead of him, Grand Maester.
Is he he's telling him?
He is made to rest comfortably.
Do you see the way he said that? It's more like he's telling him, my brother has a long recovery ahead of him. It has all sorts of misery vibes there. Like, the only thing that was missing was a sledgehammer.
Oh, part of me was like waiting on Aegon going, Mom!
Yeah, he does shout for his mummy at one point, doesn't he, in this episode? The mummy, after she walks out the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. But yeah.
Mom, he's squashing my burns!
So remember in Misery, like, Kathy Bates, like, chops his feet off, but in the book she bashes them in with a sledgehammer.
The books, she chops them off.
Oh, is it?
In the film, it's the sledgehammer.
In the film, it's the sledgehammer.
Yeah, because that will never, ever, that vision will never, ever leave me. It's horrific.
It is horrific. It's a long time since I've seen it. Oh, right, okay. I had in my head that it was the other way around.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, it's the block of wood.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I remember. I can see it now.
Goodness me.
Oh, totally. But yeah, in the book she actually chops them off. That's right.
Yeah, and I've not read the book, so you've totally just enlightened me there that she chops them off.
I only know that because Andrew told somebody in Buffy. It was Andrew and Buffy. Well, in the book she actually chops his feet. That's the only reason I know. Some random pop culture reference from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Nice. I haven't read it either.
Glad to see you're educated in the correct way.
Yes, absolutely. Pop culture references from TV shows. That's how I learn my history. Oh dear. So Aemond, he is on a massive power trip.
Yeah, and I mean, he can't back down now, can he? He's started something in motion that he just has to keep going.
Yes. He definitely does.
If he gets caught, he's for the chop.
No, beyond treason.
Yeah.
If Aegon dies, it's a kinslayer, isn't he?
Yeah.
And a kingslayer.
Yeah. All the slayers.
All the slayers.
Why do I feel like we keep making Buffy?
Regicide, fratricide, homicide.
He doesn't give a rat's ass, though, because he's like, I've got Vhagar, I can do whatever the F I want.
Well, yeah, a lot of his hubris is coming from having Vhagar, but at the same time, there's also been this second son vibe going on where he's sat there his whole life thinking, I would make a much better king than you. You know, every decision that Aegon wasn't really making decisions. Every non-decision that Aegon was making, he already had. He's like, well, this is what I would do. I would do this. I would do that. I would do this. But he wasn't in a position to make those calls without sneaking around behind Aegon's back like he did with Criston Cole. And now he's got all this power, and he's like, right, time to do things my way. And I'm not entirely sure his way is... I don't even know what I'm going to say now, because I started to say I'm not sure his way is the right way, but halfway through I changed my mind and thought, I'm not sure it's the wrong way. I'm not saying it, like, morally, absolutely wrong, all the decisions that he's making, but to win a war...
Well...
Apart from trying to murder his brother, his
decisions that he's making aren't winning over the small folk at all. So
no, absolutely not. And
his long game's a bit shit if he wants to be ruler.
Yes, and that is why I named my Smallfolk section #Team Smallfolk.
Yeah,
that is where I'm feeling. You know what? This week I'm not feeling blacks. I'm not feeling greens. I'm feeling the Smallfolk.
No, I get you. Yeah,
definitely. So we might as well move on to the Smallfolk at this stage since we brought them up. Where are my notes? #wing it. So yeah, we've got Hugh's wife begging for scraps.
Yeah.
And then the cart of sheep goes by. And Ulf shouting, we want meat. Which is really disturbing after the last episode when they dragged Melis's head through the trees and they're like, it's just meat.
Yeah. We don't want that meat, though.
Not that meat. No, definitely. And then, of course, we've got Rhaenyra's gift. We'll talk more about Rhaenyra's part of that later, but... when Rhaenyra's gift arrives, you've got that guy on the beach. And he's like looking around going, what did I do? Did I tell someone? Did I keep it all for myself? What did I do? And then suddenly realises there's loads of boats. And it's like, oh, well, plenty to go around. But by the time it actually makes it into the food actually makes its way into King's Landing, it doesn't look like there's plenty to go around anymore.
Yeah.
They're all scrapping over it. Which brings me to the question... Hugh punches the guy in the face and just takes his food off him.
I know, it's so out of character for him because he comes across as such a... oh my God. Words, Emma, words.
Moral?
Yeah, he's a moral character, isn't he?
Oh, he's certainly... Like, we don't know him very well at this point, but... Everything that we've seen of him so far indicates that he's a good person.
He seems to have values and love his family. He's hardworking. He has trust in the monarchy.
Yeah.
And now he's a bit like, it's every man for himself, I'm afraid. And that seems to be out with his character.
Yeah. And that's his wife is saying to him, is like, the king lied.
Yeah.
He's not going to give you this money that you asked for, even though he said he would.
That's it. He seems a proud man. I think that's where I was going with that. Because when she says about, look, we can go to my brother's. And he's like, what? I don't want to beg scraps off your brother. No chance.
Rather have her begging for scraps in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Which is...
That's just...
It's something when pride gets in the way, especially with, in that sort of environment, he's like this hardworking man.
He's the provider, isn't he?
He's the provider, yeah, exactly.
And she's the nurturer, and it's that losing his role is very difficult for him to process.
Yeah, definitely. So, would you punch a guy for the food?
For my kids?
For your kids?
100%,
yeah. Absolutely,
yep.
Me too.
I would kick him in the balls and run away with all his food and possibly his shoes if I needed them.
to run faster.
Yes.
If you've got the shoes and he doesn't.
Yep. Hashtag winning.
That's no, definitely, and you're not the only person that said that. I watched an after show thing, and the same question was brought up in the chat, and the people that were running said after show were not parents, and all the parents in the chat piped up and went, absolutely no hesitation, my kid's sick and starving, try and stop me.
I think, I mean, he like we said, he's the provider, so he just needs to find a new way to provide, and that's all he's left with, isn't it?
And he could carry on from where everybody's coming from and get there, and there's nothing left. So, but
and
there's that guy
trapped in as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they can get down to the docks, but for fishing, etc. This is, but they can't get out the gates. They've locked all the gates to the city, so this is all they've got. And he's seen all these people running up with bags and bags. And if he gets down there and there's nothing left, and then his wife finds out, he's going to get a right bollocking that night, isn't he? So he's like, "I'll just have yours."
I don't know any husbands out there that like, I told you so.
No, they don't. No, not as a rule. So the other scene with the Smallfolk, unless you had any other thoughts or notes on that, no, was the Queen of Fishes.
What's the Queen of Fishes?
That's how the riot starts, when Alicent gets slapped in the face with the fish.
I did like the behind the scenes bit.
Yes, it was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
And Olivia Cook was well up for it.
was
She's just like, come on, get it, just throw it right in my face. I'm up for it, let's go. I don't think Helena or Fia Saban expected to get the extra splatter on her face, because she was a bit like, I wasn't expecting that. You're supposed to get her. But it was quite an intense scene. First of all, so before we even get to the Queen of Fishes part, they're in the Sept and things are kicking off in the streets. And I question whether it was a good idea to leave the Sept.
Yeah, I get that, but I suppose in the heat of panic, you would maybe, as their guards, be like, right, get them out of there. Mm-hmm. So, but it's sort of a frying pan fire situation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The chances are, I think the fear would maybe be that it would get worse, and then they'd be really trapped in there. It's like, let's get out back to the keep before this gets really out of hand.
Yeah. So you're really great with map stuff. So how far is the Sept from the keep? How far have they got to go?
Quite far.
So if there was a full-scale riot and they were properly trapped, it would be quite an operation to get them to the keep to safety.
Okay, I can totally answer that question for you. Cersei's Walk of Shame.
Ah, right, okay.
That's how far it is.
Yeah, that's quite a trek. My brain was going sort of Walking Dead, thinking, if these are all zombies, and how far have you got to go? Like...
Oh dear. Right. So it's quite far. The carriage isn't even that close.
No.
When you think they've got the carriage is quite far away. So anyway, they leave the Sept, and it's all a bit of mayhem. There's the Queen of Fishes part, and then this guy just grabs Alicent's hand, and I can't remember whether it was Curly, Larry or Mole, but one of the three of them chops the poor guy's hand off. And it was his face. It was a bit comedic, don't you think? He was like, ah! But yeah, that was it. And of course, Alicent's like immediately like, sheath your swords. No, what are you doing? And then Rickard Thorne is like too busy trying to enforce Alicent's command that when Alicent and Helena run off and they think he's behind them, he's not. He's still shouting at the other guys, and the crowd has got in between.
Oh, this
Rickard
is a bit
Thorne.
where they're backed up on the wall,
Yeah,
isn't
and
it?
Alicent and Helena end up backed up on this wall. And to give Alicent her due...
I'm sorry, that's Walking Dead vibes.
Oh, it was complete Walking Dead vibes, wasn't it? Alicent's pushing them away and everything. Walking Dead vibes.
Yeah.
Like, get off my daughter. Just get... Like, she was She was trying to protect her daughter.
Yeah.
It was instinct kicked in. And you can call her a shit mum all you want, but anytime there's been actual physical danger, she is standing between that danger and her child.
Yeah.
When it was Mellie's in the dragon pit, and there she's right in, she's like, no, just don't hurt my babies.
Yeah.
So she's not the greatest mother, but when shit hits the fan, she was all about protecting her kids. And so she's pushing them off. Rickard Thorne's trying to fight his way through the crowd to get them. But what was actually the foot soldiers from the carriage.
Is that who got in between?
That's I had to watch it a couple of times to figure out the uniforms, because they were in a different uniform, and then I realised those are the foot soldiers.
Right.
And then, as the foot soldiers sort of usher her out, then the City Watch comes pounding in to try and thing it. Meanwhile, Curly, Larry and Moore rolling about on the floor getting battered by the Smallfolk, and to be fair, they deserved it, idiots. And it was just absolute chaos. It was just so crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, but at the same time, it's like, while the Smallfolk were kicking off, they were fed now. You know what I mean? They were resentful that the food and aid had come from Rhaenyra instead of the Crown. I suppose Rhaenyra is the Crown, depending on which side you are. But yeah, there's like, I forgot what I was going to say. Totally lost that chain of thought.
Well, I'll pick up with How to Win Friends and Influence People by the Greens. Like,
not doing a good job there, are they?
Starve them, trap them in, freak them out with a dead dragon head. You know, it's not a good play.
It's not. I don't get why. I still don't get why they lock them in the city.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I'm trying to think of a strategical reason for doing it. And I suppose maybe, you know, if the people leave the city...
Is it you're mine and you will stay here?
Could be.
I'm telling you what to do.
Possibly on Aemond's side, yeah. But I'm thinking, from a strategical point of view, I'm thinking maybe it's more about... Oh, I just had another thought. I was going to say that it was regarding, you know, making sure commerce continues, and you know, if everybody leaves the city, then who's going to do the work?
Yeah.
So there could be that point. But then I just had another darker thought while I was saying it, is that, well, they need them as human shields in case the Blacks attack.
Dragon fodder again.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think maybe that's
this is
part
Aemond
of the
we're talking
fear
about.
Of the small people. Like, hey, hold on a minute. If the Blacks come, we're getting roasted.
Definitely. And so at this stage, I'm definitely team Smallfolk. The City Watch were a wee bit late to the party there, like they really were. But like they're not doing their job since Daemon's not been around.
No.
But I'm just blown away by the stupidity of Curly, Larry and Mo. Rickard Thorne kind of fucked up as well, because he was too busy telling the other guys off and let them run off on their own. But at the same time, he was probably the most qualified Kingsguard there.
Well, it kind of goes back to Rhaenyra's point when she said, look, I've grown up in a time of peace. They all have. Nobody really has experienced battle, or they've got battle strategy in theory, but when the shit hits the fan, none of them have learned how to control their
tiny
fear,
small skirmishes, bandits, robbers.
But when they're living on their nerves, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when things do kick off, they don't know how to deal with it. And Curly, Larry and Mo were put in their station because they're just Aegon's pisshead pals.
Oh, fun fact. I haven't decided which one's Curly, Larry and Mo yet, but we're going to go with Larry. I'm going to call this one Larry, the ginger one. Did you know that he's a Rain of Castamere?
I did not know that.
And it's Martin Rain of Castamere.
I'm sitting here saying, like, I know what that means.
That is the family that Tywin Lannister wiped out, and that is the song, The Rains of Castamere, that was played at the Red Wedding.
Oh, well, how's he floating about then?
Because it's in the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the family that later on is wiped out by Tywin Lannister.
Right, okay.
And the song, The Rains...
3, 2, 1, I'm back in the room.
Yes. And the song, The Rains of Castamere, was the signal for everybody, for the murder to start. For all the murdering at the Red Wedding to start. That was the signal. If he's a descendant,
you can see why they got wiped out. They're probably not known for their brains, are they? Christ almighty.
No, but you don't cross Tywin Lannister. No. There was another family that was wiped out along with them. And I've forgotten the name now. I had this. I knew this last week. Damn it. But it wasn't just the Rains of Castamere, but I think the other family's name didn't have quite the kind of ring to it to write a song about. The Rains of Castamere just worked as a song. So they got a song, the other family just got forgotten. To the point that I can't even remember their name.
Oh, is it probably Smith?
Something like that. Yeah, it was. But, so yeah, that wee fun fact regarding the ginger one.
Love a fun fact.
Oh, definitely. So the last part regarding the Smallfolk would be the tavern scene. I've got a clip of that. Will we have a listen?
Yeah.
Bit thin, isn't it?
It's either that or the fish.
Nothing but fish in this damn city.
Oh, I don't like fish.
I do. I'd be alright.
Ale here.
I'd be alright.
I don't think I can stomach it, lass.
Yeah, you made the right choice there, I'll tell you that.
Makes you sick, doesn't it? Knowing they're banqueting every night at the castle, while we go without.
That can't be true.
My girls were taken to the Red Keep a few nights ago. Feasting and merriment for the new Prince Regent.
And Emma was acting so correct.
I'll tell you, he's no penny pincher. They were well paid. And
I feel like I'm in the pub eavesdropping.
Yeah, fish with more fish on the side.
Brats of lamb, my love. Mince pies, honey cakes, beef and gravy.
Okay, now I'm hungry.
And what do you think? There is to be another revel on the morrow with dancing.
That ain't right.
Apologies, my good man.
Oh, apologies, as if you were saying it for his benefit.
The royals would never countenance me speaking about their bounty, even if it's true.
King Viserys loved his feasts and his wine, but never while us small folk went without.
True story.
Aye. But he's gone now. And his rightful heir denied her seat.
Ooh, bold words in King's Landing.
No use wondering what might have been.
Although Ulf was using the same words a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
He said rightful heir, but then Aegon walked in, so that kind of made him shit himself and retract a little. But, yeah, this is the way the small folk are feeling. And that was before Rhaenyra sent the boats.
Yeah.
That was before the boats were discovered. So they were already feeling like that. Not all of them, but some of them are definitely of the opinion that this isn't right. And Sylvie's got that first-hand knowledge because we know that, you know, she's been Aemond's sugar mama behind closed doors. So as much as she smiles and tells Aemond everything that he wants to hear when he's in the room with her, she's a woman with her own mind.
Yeah.
And she's feeling repressed and bold enough to say it out loud in a public place.
Good for you, Sylvie.
Yeah, I think I like her. I think I like her. So, do we have any other thoughts on the small folk? And I find it really interesting that we're seeing a small folk perspective.
Yeah, we only get in really little snippets, but this episode there's been much more for us to delve into.
Well, it was called Smallfolk.
Yeah.
But even in Game of Thrones, we didn't really. I think we've said this before. We got a couple of randoms like Gendry and Hot Pie, and other than that, it was all nobility and their bastards. Then let's face it, your Jon Snows and Ramsay Boltons, while they were bastards, they were still growing up in castles. So, not Smallfolk. Oh, Roz at the very beginning. Do you remember Roz the prostitute?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was another one of the Smallfolk that we saw in Game of Thrones, but we're getting a lot more of that in this, because the Smallfolk have their part to play in this story.
Yeah, they do.
Big time. And I like that the seeds are being planted now, rather than it just later on when, you know, the Smallfolk become more involved in the story, that it's just sprung on you.
Yeah.
I like that it's building gradually, without getting into spoilers.
I know, I was sitting here going,
spoiler-free zone. No, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff out there. I think a lot of people have spoiled themselves or been spoiled by other people on certain plot points as later on in this story, because Fire and Blood's been around for a long time, and people can't keep their mouth shut. And you go and you watch a video on YouTube about something, and it ends up spoiling something else for you that you weren't even thinking about. And I mean, I got spoiled on the beginning of season 2 about 3 or 4 times to the point that I was just like, no, I'm done. I'm going to just binge it all this week, and I'm just going to be done with it. I'm just going to finish the book. And I
can't be the only person that reads a book and then you could give me the book 5 years later and it's like a new book. Like, I do not remember a single thing.
I'm the same. I'm feeling like that with the main story at this point.
Yeah.
When I read those books, it was before The World of Ice and Fire came out. So you're talking, and that was what, 2015, something like that. So it's near on 10 years since I read those books, and maybe more actually. Yeah, maybe more. And 12. No, I read them like about season 2 of Game of Thrones. So that would have been about 2012. 2013 maybe, roughly around that time I read them, and I have forgotten more than I remember.
Yeah, and they're also the type of books that you could reread them in succession and find something else every time, because there's so much in them.
There's so much detail, and every line is important, not just to the story but to the symbolism. There's, we've got archetypal characters, and we've got repetition of these archetypes throughout different characters within the book. You've got the repetition of symbolism throughout different things. You've got George is very clever at telling a story within a story. So, for example, the prologue of Game of Thrones, if you reread it, those of you that have got the book, pick it up and reread it, and you try and see the repeating patterns of language that's used, like to describe the White Walkers, like their bones are like pale milk glass and things like that. And then that's dropped to you right in the beginning in that prologue chapter, and then watch again for the repetition of that language. Sometimes it might be referring to a sword, i.e. Dawn, which is the sword of House Dane, and that's described as pale milk glass as well, and icy, and things like that. And it's like, is there a connection here between the others and House Dane?
Yeah.
And these things repeat over and over and over again. So you start to think, wait a minute, this can't be coincidence anymore. So it's just so in depth on every level. You're not just reading a story, but George is dropping hints about the history, an 8,000 year history.
This is like read it and create a spreadsheet, so as you can put in, like you said, like put in milk glass, and it'll bring up every time that's been mentioned, and then you go, oh right, okay, I can sit with this and correlate this and find out exactly how many things tie in with that particular
definitely. But yeah, it's the books are so deep. And if you, for example, there's a historical figure from history, from reality, that a character kind of sounds like, you can learn a lot more about that character by going and learning about that history.
Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just genius if you ask me, these books, and I can't wait to sit down and read them again once this runs over. I'm going to sit down, read them again with a new, fresh perspective, and really, really see if we can put together some details.
So, and I'm going to read them for the first time.
Yay! You've only really watched the show, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that'll be fab for you. So just for future reference, guys, myself and Emma have decided that we're going to delve a little bit deeper. We're going to make some YouTube videos in the future, maybe come up with some theories of our own, or maybe just point you in the direction of some lore that you never noticed. And so I hope that you guys will check in and share those videos when they come around.
Please do.
Excellent. So we've done the Smallfolk. So's Aemond. What shall we do now? I fancy a giggle.
Are you going to go for Sir Bawbag?
Sir Bawbag, or Gaston. That's what we called him in season 1, wasn't it?
We did, yeah.
So guys, this is Jason Lannister.
The Golden Tooth is honored to receive you, my Lord Lannister. I have 500 fighting men, armed and full of spirit.
I bring 1,000 knights of my own.
Oh, did you?
As many archers and men-at-arms.
No one fights like Gaston.
The Riverland scum, the Red Fort will earn its name.
We are ready to march at your command, my lord. I suppose you will make for Harrenhal at once.
I want you to send a raven to King's Landing. Tell my brother we are ready to march, as soon as Prince Aemond is able to join us on Vhagar.
And until the prince makes his answer, my lord?
My men have had a long march. They are most eager to embrace the hospitality of your keep.
What a twat.
He's a walloper, eh?
He really is. He's bloody hilarious, though. Oh, it's so funny. He's just so full of himself. It's unbelievable.
Oh, he's dripping with smarm.
Oh, but I mean, yeah, something tells me those words are going to come back to bite him in the arse. Or maybe Vhagar's going to come and bite him in the arse.
No, Nana, no.
Oh dear. We just did
We
that
need to stop
again.
doing that.
We need to stop doing that. It's creepy. Right, okay. I don't think there's really much to say on him. I just fancied a giggle.
Yeah.
Shut that in. So, Emma, choose a topic. Shall we talk about Rhaenyra?
Yeah, why not? We've not spoken about her for a wee while.
No, we've not. We also have... Oh, actually, if we did it the other way around and we talk about Sir Gawain first and then went into Rhaenyra, that will lead us right into the dragon section.
Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah,
Let's do it like that. So, Gawain and Alicent.
I thought that was cute.
I thought it was lovely. I mean, it was a bit funny and awkward at first. He was very sarky at the beginning.
It was total Sibs, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's when she was talking about Otto, he was just like, yeah, he does what he does, blah, blah, blah. But once he started to talk about, when she started to ask about Daemon, he softened and he just told her what she needed to hear about her son.
Yeah.
Offered her some comforting words that, you know, a mother would like to hear. Shall we play the clip?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Sister? Gawain. 'Tis well that I found you.
He doesn't buy it because she was watching Criston and he saw it.
My thanks to the Queen Down.
Yeah, sure you were here to see me.
I wondered if you've heard from Father. I've sent ravens to Highguard and Andal Town, but have had no reply.
I've had nothing. But neither have I sent any message. If he wrote letters, it would be to you. You were always his favourite.
Strange there has been no word.
Otto Hightower is ever resourceful.
He will send news when there is news to send.
Also true.
I often wonder what life could have been if he had brought you to court instead.
I'm the eldest son. It was right that I was raised at Old Town.
You were 8 years of age and motherless. It must have been difficult.
You get on with it, don't you? When there isn't any choice.
That's the line there.
Mm-hmm.
My son Daemon. What's he like?
Does he not write to you?
Less and less these days.
10 and 6 now. Letters perhaps hold less of his interest. He's stalwart. Clever. As adept with his lute as he is with his sword. And a feature in the fancies of many a young lady, I'll wager.
Well, I think he sounds awesome.
Oh, I love that bit.
And he's kind.
That's good.
Oh.
Kindness is a quality I found lacking in his brothers.
You did well to send him toward. Yes, it seems the Red Keep, for all its privileges, may in fact be a less than salubrious environment for the forming of young men.
Was it their mother?
Oh, dear.
I'm sure you did your best.
And word of the day goes to Sir Gawain.
Yours, Criston. Wish us luck, sister.
I shall pray to the warrior for your safe return.
He doesn't think he's coming back.
No.
Not after what he's seen.
Can you blame him?
No, not at all. I mean, he was cut down to size quite quickly in this war. You remember what he was like in his first episode? Yeah. He was so arrogant, and, you know, a couple of battles later, you could just see the wind's been knocked right out of him. But he seems like a good brother.
Yeah.
And they've never really known each other. Like she said, he was 8 years old when she came to court. So, I suppose they wrote letters. That would be the extent of them knowing each other, really.
Probably the best thing for him was that he didn't have a lot to do with Otto Hightower, really.
Yeah. But he was still hanging about in Old Town, and Otto's brother's not exactly...
No, but he's probably had a relatively similar upbringing as Daemon, I'm going to guess. And maybe that's why he relates to him, and it was a good topic for him to talk about, because he sounds like he cares for him and he respects him.
Yeah.
And he maybe sees a bit of himself in him. And I would imagine that arrogance would be a level of persona that's required.
Well, I'm guessing that, what you're saying about seeing a little bit of himself in it, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but I mean, the lad is known as Daemon the Daring, and you don't get to be Daemon the Daring without a small amount of hubris and arrogance, maybe.
We've grown up similarly without mothers.
Yeah.
In the same place.
Yeah, absolutely. And Old Town is a place of culture and learning. Mm-hmm. It's where sharp young minds hang out. You know, that's how the Citadel was founded, by a bunch of smart people hanging out and learning stuff together. And
what the fuck happened?
Yeah. Well, they could be making a video about that in future.
That Hightower blood surely did not extend to Alicent's sons, I see.
No, I don't think it did. Oh dear, but Viserys was a good man. They've got him in him as well. I think we forget that sometimes. Because there's Aegon and Aemond...
nothing good in either of those boys.
No, there isn't. And because there is, I think sometimes we forget that, you know, they're part of Viserys too. And look at Helena.
Yeah.
She's off the wall, but seems a good, kind person.
Yeah.
She's just hallucinating visions 24/7 and can't distinguish reality from fantasy. Well, from her visions, which are real, I think, as well. She probably doesn't understand whether it's something's really happening, whether it's in the past or whether it's in the future at times. And life must be hard for her in that respect. Though she's probably got a lot more of her father in her than the rest. Well, she's very Targaryen if she's having those dreams. Yeah, that's definitely the strong dragon blood shining through with her. But Daemon, he sounds awesome. Can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find a green that I like. Although I can't actually fault Alicent in this episode. I usually do find fault with Alicent. She's a bit of a fuck up. But in this episode, I feel she did and said everything right. And I felt quite sorry for her being benched the way she was.
Well, what goes around comes around, bitch, doesn't it?
We're going to do that thing with Alicent now that we used to do with Otto.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you'd be like, oh, I really like his decision this week. And I'm like, he's a dick. And then the other way around the following week. That's what's going to happen. Well, anyway, this week I'm calling it. I quite liked Alicent this week. She was humanised for me this week.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can get on board with that.
What else we got before we go into Rhaenyra, which will take us into our dragon section? Did I have any other wee side plots? Oh, yeah. I have notes here. So in the Jason Lannister clip, there was lions in cages.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Like, what the F is the need for lions in battle? What are you going to do? Open the cages and just let them loose? Do the lions know who's on what side? I mean, it just seems a wee bit mad to me. But I also wanted to draw attention to the fact that in the world of Westeros, lions are magical.
Oh, okay.
So listen, this is from A Dance of Dragons, Bran 3. It says, that was in the dawn of days. This is the Children of the Forest speaking. I think it's Leaf to Bran. It says, that was in the dawn of days when our sun was rising. Now it sinks, and this is our long dwindling. The giants are almost gone as well. They who were our bane and our brothers. The great lions of the western hills have been slain. The unicorns are all but gone. The mammoths down to a few hundred. The dire wolves will outlast us all, but their time will come as well. In the world that men have made, there is no room for them or us.
Oh.
So I'm thinking that those lions are not magical. You know, we've got wolves and dire wolves.
Yeah.
I think these are just standard lions. But the great lions of the Western Hills are all gone. They've all been slain. That's what the world of men has brought to Westeros.
So these are just, I mean, it's your typical Lannister, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're such show-offs. So it's, I have lions.
Yeah.
And tigers and bears, oh my! I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Somebody has that.
Just comes out.
But yeah, so magical creatures of Westeros would be, of course, the ancient lions, the unicorns, the mammoths, the dire wolves, and of course, the children of the forest, and the giants. So it's interesting because after reading The World of Ice and Fire, and having forgotten these because I read the book so long ago, the World of Ice and Fire says prior to the first men that there's just giants and children of the forest. Mm-hmm. And that's it. But when you go into the main story where it's a character talking about legend and lore, you find out that there's all these other magical creatures as well. Of course, we saw mammoths in the show and direwolves, but I didn't know about lions. Magical lions. And I don't remember, even although I read the books, I still do not remember the mention of unicorns ever in the main story, and definitely not on the TV show. So yeah, I find it really interesting that lions are part of the magical creatures of ancient Westeros. Interesting, but probably not those lions.
No, nah.
No, probably not.
As much as Jason Lannister would have loved them to be.
But I still don't get the whole taking lions to battle. It's just a prowess thing, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe it was a bit like, well, I can't have a dragon, so I'll just have a pretend magic lion.
Yeah.
Next best thing, really, isn't it?
Definitely. So, what other little side plots have we got before we... There was the scene with Adam and Alan when Alan was shaving his head.
Yeah.
Did you see his Targaryen locks starting to poke through?
I did, and I watched the behind the scenes, and he got an actual barber in to show him how to shave his head.
Yeah, because he'd never done it before.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. The main thing that I took from that scene is that Adam's like, why are you not lapping this up?
Yeah.
He's like, me, doesn't even notice me. He's feeling a bit ignored.
Bless him.
Yeah, definitely. Which brings us to our next character, Rhaena, who is still sulking. Bless her. Also feeling ignored. Our ship to Pentos is ready, and she's pissed that there is a dragon in the Vale.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But she's pissed she wasn't told.
Yeah, she's like, you liar.
But to give Jane Arryn her due, she was like, okay, full disclosure. It's so...
Didn't lie, just admitted the truth.
Yes, exactly. But, no, that's for the dragon section. We'll leave that. So yeah, that's pretty much our wee side stories. Adam's feeling a bit left out. Rhaena's feeling a bit left out. So moving on to the Blacks. And Rhaenyra's feeling a bit left out.
Yeah. It's a theme.
It's definitely a theme. But according to Dan and Dave, themes are for book reports. Class. No Dan and Dave love here, by the way, peeps.
No.
Right, so the Blacks. Corlys was looking all proud with his pin.
Bless him.
He was having a moment there in that room.
Yeah, it's nice to see him finding some purpose, because he's been feeling a bit lost, hasn't he?
Well, definitely. Bailey have definitely put him in his place.
Yeah.
He looks like he's ready to step up and do what's necessary, because they are at war. And there are members of his family that are still alive, whose lives are at stake.
War is what
here.
he knows as well. So
yeah. I can't wait though. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not usually an animation girl, but I'm really looking forward to the Sea State Voyages coming out. I think that is I think that's going to be a thing now.
Yeah, I think I said earlier, didn't I, that if that's all we're getting, then I'm going to watch it.
Definitely, it'll be cool. So yeah, we had. So this was the beginning of the scene where the rest of them all come in, and everybody's sitting around the table, and then you get bring him forth, and you're like, what's going on here? It was a very tense scene, and then we have Rhaenyra putting forward the pitch.
Yeah.
Shall we hear it?
Sir Stephen Darklyn, Your Grace.
Is autumn mace, Your Grace? My lords?
I find myself, Sir Stephen, in an impossible position. I have lost Princess Rhaenys and her dragon. I hold an island seat with no land army. And I must not go to battle myself, as I am constantly told, lest I am slain or captured, and
but I'm
with
not
me
better.
our hopes of victory.
There is still Daemon and Caraxes.
Oh.
And the Rivermen.
Well, everybody just
That
stop
remains
saying
to be seen.
Daemon.
In any case, I must now proceed as if I stand alone. And I see now that to do that, I need more dragon riders. For Vermithor and Silverwing, and for Seasmoke, who I believe misses his bond.
But there are no more in your family, Your Grace. Your younger sons are babes.
I had noticed.
There is Princess Rhaena.
She has attempted it, alas, but the dragons here would not take her as a rider.
Then who could do it?
You.
Say what now?
You are of noble birth, and I had always heard, as you know, that the Darklings and the Targaryens had some common blood. I looked into the history, and indeed it is true. Your grandmother's grandmother, Ariana, was born a Targaryen princess.
Sounds weak to me.
Thinking, could it be possible?
To even consider such a thing.
I must protest, Your Grace, the risk involved in such a venture.
I think you protest to everything.
The dragons are gods. Your Grace honours me beyond what I deserve.
You understand your peril, Sir Stefan. I do not compel you to do this. It has never been attempted before. To claim a dragon, you must also be prepared to die.
I well understand the risk, and I accept it with gladness.
Oh, dear.
I swore to ward my queen with all my strength and to give my blood for hers. That is my oath, Your Grace.
I'm getting serious simp vibes here.
Yeah.
Perhaps the gods will favour us.
Well, spoiler alert. They don't. It might have helped if he was praying to the right gods, but well, we'll get to that. So, what did you think of that decision? You know,
well, that's complete desperation, really, isn't it?
It was.
I've researched your grandmother's grandmother, so really, that's weak.
It was very, very weak.
He didn't have a choice. What was he going to say? No, I'm not doing it. No, I have boundaries. I don't want to be roasted alive. Thank you very much. That would be a total, I don't believe in you. I'm not willing to do anything for my regent. He had no choice.
Yeah, it was no choice whatsoever. But, oh, God.
It's like shite bag if you didn't. Right, cool. Okay, then. I don't know. I'll give it a go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Dragon love him.
Yeah. But Celtigar couldn't help but get his wee 10 pence worth in after it all went wrong, though. And I did tell you so. Let's hear that clip. I feel like somebody put 50 pence in the dickhead in that moment. Oh, definitely.
So did Rhaenyra.
I would have slapped him too. But let's hear it. Not that I condone violence in any way.
Sea Smoke has fled Dragonstone, and Sir Stefan was a valiant knight.
Blah, 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 blah.
If perhaps foreseeable. I myself, if you recall, was in favour of treating with Lord Mutton to march on Rook's Rest, a more conventional approach. True, not as sensational. His numbers were few, but we may yet retake...
Ouch! It is my fault, I think, that you have forgotten to fear me.
Oh, well.
Wow, that was beyond a verbal slap in the face, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely. She needed to make her point, though.
She did.
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely awesome. And that scene with her and Jace afterwards when he's like, so I heard what happened. He's kind of smirking the whole time as he says it. There's like this little curl at the corner of his mouth.
His mum's lost her shit.
Oh dear. But yeah, God, it was a hard episode to watch with Rhaenyra. Like from an audience perspective, trying to enjoy a character that I love, I was just like, oh, stop whining. But at the same time, I get why she's whining.
Yeah.
She has been completely and totally benched. She has the most formidable dragon on their side. And she can't do anything. She's, her hands are tied behind her back. And they're all playing, though, but you're a woman and you don't understand war and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, none of us understand war and I got a dragon. What you got? But nobody's listening, and I get it. She's just so worked up. What was your vibes of Rhaenyra this week? What were you feeling about her?
Yeah, no, totally with you on the whiny. Mm-hmm. And yes, get it also. I think the slap was so deserved.
It was.
She was, as well as being very overwhelmed with the feeling of, I can't do anything. You want me to fix this situation? Well, I'm giving you a solution. You won't let me do it. I've come up with this solution, which I think she knew was a bullshit one. And now she feels really guilty because she's a good person.
Yeah.
And, oh, bollocks. Now he's fucking roasted, and that's my fault. And she's got this fucking whiny Celtigar. Yeah. And she's right. I think you have forgotten to fear me. You're treating me like a silly woman now.
Yeah.
So back off.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. And she must be feeling something for Darklyn. I mean, at the end of the day, when she went off on her secret mission to go and speak with Alicent, he was the one that went with her.
Yeah.
Right? There must be a high level of trust there.
Yeah. For
him to be the only one that was in it. They didn't tell anyone behind where they were going. Just the two of them went off. And so she must have a level of respect and trust for the guy.
Yeah, and she feels like she's let him down in the worst way.
She kind of did.
Doesn't get any worse than that, does it?
It doesn't really. The dude got roasted. But to move on, she then goes and, she was reading that page with Visenya when she was with Jace. And then afterwards she goes and she's picking up that sword. And I'm with Messiah. Looked good on her.
Yeah.
It did. There's something about that, queen with a sword that's just as powerful. And but then, of course, when Messaria says this becomes you, she got all uncomfortable and puts it back down.
Very bashful, wasn't she?
Yeah, she got very bashful. But the sword wielding was looking good. And I like Messaria's line in that scene as well. It's just like, it's harder to wage a war abroad when you must also keep peace at home.
Yes. Very
clever. I think Messaria is being, she's the only one thinking about the small folk. And, and because of that, she's thinking about things that just haven't crossed any other highborn's mind.
No, she's absolutely in the frame of mind of looking at the bigger picture. Because what is it that they want to preside over?
Yeah.
The small folk.
Yeah.
If they're not on your side...
Certainly not ash and bone.
Yeah, what is it you're fighting for?
To rule, you need people to rule.
Exactly.
And they're way more important than any of these highborn are giving them credit for.
Yep.
Hashtag speak Team Smallfolk. But they are. They're so important and they've been ignored. And Messaria's shining a light on that, which put Rhaenyra in a much stronger position. So that was I liked that scene. It was good.
Smart girl.
Yeah, definitely. So there was, however, one scene with the blacks that I did not like, and it was not regarding the scene. It was regarding the setting. Jace and Rhaenyra outside on the walls of Dragonstone, and when you're behind them looking out at sea, it's fine. Right, but when you get them from the other angle, what you see is this cobbled wall behind you, behind them, sorry, and you can see the rest of the castle behind, which is all these cobbled stone walls. Dragonstone. I'm about to get on my soapbox.
I'm waiting.
It's built with fused Valyrian stone, which means there are no joins, there are no cobbles, there is no mortar. The stone is heated with dragon fire and moulded with sorcery into one solid piece. There is no cobbled walls on Dragonstone. And I get that they found this location and it kind of works for the scenery and setting around it. But if you're going to do that, just keep all the shots inside. You know what I mean? Like the Dragonstone inside, the set of Dragonstone inside is fucking amazing. But outside...
Just for context here while we're talking that other people can't see, right? So you're describing this perfectly. Yeah. And I'm sitting here listening with a calendar picture of Dragonstone, and it's the most amazing picture.
It is. It's in the 2025 calendar, folks. It's the middle poster.
It's really cool, and you're absolutely spot on in your description.
Yeah, except I did not mention all the fused stone gargoyles as well, which are also created in the same way by taking this stone, heating it to an incredible level with dragon fire, and then it being moulded with sorcery into these fantastical shapes, which is how old Valyria used to look. These twisted and curved and things that you can't do with stone with normal masonry techniques. It requires magic, and yet we've got this stupid stone wall, cobbled stone wall outside Dragonstone, and it fucking pisses me off.
Yes, it's very sad that the budget couldn't extend to a sheen shower curtain.
Yeah. CGI the fucker. Like, you know, or just don't do scenes outside. But why? But no, sorry. You know, if it was any other castle, if it was Driftmark or something like that, I'd have no complaints. But it's Dragonstone. Put the frickin' effort in, or pay attention to the lore, Ryan. You call yourself a fan. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox now.
Someone bring her back in.
I'm back.
Bring her off Dragonstone. She's lost it.
So yeah, Mysaria interrupts this scene with her gift is sent, and Rhaenyra's like, let us hope for clouds over the Blackwater tonight. And of course at this point we don't know what's going on. It's not in the books. Yeah. It didn't happen in the books. So yeah, I was quite intrigued at this point. I thought it was really like, oh, what's happening? What are they up to? Quite loved it. So I loved how that all played out. But the food for the masses. Score Team Black. Personally, I think the Blacks won this episode.
Yeah, we'd go with that. I would say they won the episode through the food.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That's score one for Team Black, sending the food into the masses. Absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was pretty much it. The only other thing really was, I think the fandom are calling it Rosaria.
Oh yeah.
I think I want to think about what's going on here. One thing I'm absolutely certain of, they're unlike any relationships that Criston Cole had. There was no sexual harassment in the workplace there.
No.
That was completely and totally reciprocated.
100%. And it was really nice to see Rhaenyra connecting with somebody that's... She doesn't have Rhaenyra's best intentions at heart.
No, she has the Smallfolk's best intentions at heart.
But she's...
I think they're trauma bonded over Daemon.
Yeah. I don't know if Daemon holds as much trauma for Mysaria.
She's better. Every time she's like, that's what he does, and you know, that's Daemon. She's very bitter, and I think that helps for Rhaenyra, because it helps Rhaenyra stay clear on who Daemon is and forget the part of, you know.
I'm going with your insight on that. I like that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I like the trauma bonding thing.
Yeah, I think this is what it is. They are a bit trauma bonded over it. So she's pissed off. She's, you know, she's given this. They're having this conversation about Daemon, and like I say, Mysaria. Mysaria says, "Did I just do that?"
You did, yeah.
Mysaria is like, well, that's what Daemon does, and you know, they're having that moment, and then she's like, well, I've not got enough dragons, I've got no army. She's like, you've got the Valyrian fleet, that's not enough. And then this statement from Rhaenyra that just made me go, oh, she's like, how will I rule a kingdom with my own son Downsby?
Oh, bless her.
And of course Mysaria is like, you have me. And so then she opens up to her and she tells this abuse story of her father.
Mysaria, you're just looking for love in all the wrong places, love, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And she gave her this speech, That's like, I believe in you, which is kind of a trope, to be honest with you. There's, oh, I believe in you. And, you know, how many times have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of a trope. But it worked in this situation. Rhaenyra got the validation that she had, and then there was this long hug that led to some nuzzling. And at this point, I was thinking, oh, more sexual harassment in the workplace. But as Rhaenyra pulls back, you see that Mysaria's kissing her neck.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this is totally reciprocated. There's feeling. I'm not saying emotional feelings. I'm not saying it's love, but it's that tingle that you get when you're just about to kiss somebody for the first time that you really like, and you could see that there was sparks of electricity coming off. It's been a while, Emma. That's Emma's face.
You know that meme of John Travolta, and he's like just walking around scratching his head.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you're married and you talk about this shit.
Kissing someone for the first time.
What? When did that happen? I don't recall.
It was a long time ago. I vaguely remember it. So anyway, they're having their kiss, and of course they get interrupted, which is also a trope. You know, that first kiss being interrupted by someone, that's a bit of a trope as well. But, you know, we had to move the story along. And which brings us to our dragon section.
Bloody brilliant.
Yes! Here we go. So we have a fun-filled dragon section for this week. There were many dragon sightings in Westeros.
Oh yes, there was.
It was fab. So in episode 5, not so many, but we had Caraxes and Daemon with the Brackens. Anticlimactic as it was. Blew all the budget on Rook's Rest.
Yeah, you just had to use your imagination. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I used my imagination when I read the book.
Yeah, that's why I'm watching it. Where are the visuals?
Absolutely. So that was a little bit anticlimactic. I don't want to say disappointing, because it was quite a fun scene despite that. But
on a kind of hilarious level.
Yeah, it was quite amusing. Our next dragon sighting was the skull of Meraxes in Dragonstone.
That was really cool.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever... I don't know if we've seen it before. It's certainly the first time I've noticed it. So that was really cool. For those of you that don't know the lore, Meraxes was the dragon of Aegon the Conqueror's sister Rhaenys, who died in 10 AC.
She's full of the facts, guys.
Totally.
Full
Fun
of
fact.
the facts.
I will save you the details of the how and the why, and because I believe they are doing a Conqueror spin-off. But the books have been out for years, guys. There must be a statute limitation on spoilers, don't you think?
Yeah.
So our next dragon section was, of course, I can't say it, Sir Stefan Sparkling. Sorry guys, that's not my bad dad joke. That was Ryan Condal's.
It was, and he totally loved to run with the whole dad joke. Like,
yeah, not only did he make the joke, but he named the entire section after it. It's like, yeah, Ryan, it wasn't that funny. Although we're having quite a giggle at it now, so.
To be fair, at the time I did genuinely make a genuine lol. Like a genuine one.
Yeah.
Not like a smiled a bit. But a genuine lol.
I definitely laughed out loud. I will give him that. But he was so proud of his joke. That was the funny part, is that he was so proud of it. Like, I cracked a funny, Mum.
It was reasonable.
So anyway, the Dragon Keepers were singing the same song that Daemon sang to Vermithor in season 1.
Yes, yeah.
If you are interested in knowing the details of that song, David Lightbringer has a fantastic video on YouTube in which they translates and decodes the meaning behind the lyrics. So check that out.
Nice.
So Yeah. I'm watching this scene and I'm just thinking, dude, don't show fear. Don't show fear. And then he's like, warrior, protect us. And I'm like, wrong gods, wrong gods. And then I was like, oh no, more fear, my notes say. Abort. Definitely. And then he goes, Daenerys, sea smoke. And sea smoke sort of goes, what? And his little look is like, hey, who the fuck are you?
Love your narration of that scene.
It's brilliant. And I'm like, don't show fear. Oh, too late. And then he goes, Daenerys again. And sea smoke. I love this. This is my best. This is probably one of my favourite dragon moments to date in this show, because the personality from Sea Smoke was absolutely brilliant. And it's like, all right, mate, hop on. And he leans down and drops his shoulder. I just find it hilarious. It was brilliant. It's like, and then he just starts tiptoeing up to him, and I'm just like, you don't tiptoe up to a dragon.
No.
In fact, in the end scene when Rhaenyra goes to go and meet Adam, and she marches up to Syrax, that's how you approach a dragon.
Yeah.
Like you mean it. But he's like tiptoeing up. It was like something out of a cartoon.
Here, kitty, please don't eat me.
But what I did find really cool, was that, well, maybe not cool. Cool's maybe not the right word, but that I don't know what the right word is. The dragon keepers with their suicide knife.
Oh, yeah.
It was really interesting. Let's go with interesting.
I'm going to go with organised.
Yeah, definitely. Guy was prepared. And the stunts were just amazing.
They were.
The behind the scenes.
Yeah.
This guy was on fire while at the same time they're having to do this blood splatter thing, and it was just, and he was really on fire. There was no CGI
it was all timed
there.
And it was brilliant.
Perfect. It was one of the best behind the scenes I've watched so far. I was fascinated by how they put this scene together. It was really well done and so detailed, and it had to be perfect to the second.
Yeah.
The work that these guys do, I mean, that's dedication to your craft, isn't it?
Who was it that said, was it I considered doing my own stunts or something, or I wanted to be a stuntman? And no, I don't know. I absolutely don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
Who was it? Who was that? There was someone that said that.
Yeah, someone did say that, yeah. I do not blame him afterwards. No, definitely. It was intense. But speaking of doing your own stunts, Adam or Clinton Liberty...
brilliant. And they were so worried, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, God.
But he was like, I want to do my own stunts for this scene. And he was parkouring it all over the place. He was doing great and so much energy. He's clearly very fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I named this section How to Claim Your Rider.
Yeah.
Because Sea Smoke claimed Adam, it was without a doubt. There's no dispute about it. Adam was like, "What the hell is going on here?"
Oh yeah. The dragon claims the rider, don't they?
Yeah,
rather than the rider claiming the dragon.
The varying degrees of how that can happen. It could be them walking up to a dragon and dragon goes, "Aye, all right then." Or in this case, and I reckon this is probably pretty rare, but the dragons seeked him out.
It's like dating before dating apps.
Yeah. But on a more serious note about that, we now know heavily suspect through the lore that we discovered regarding Daenerys the Dreamer that dreams come from dragons. Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that she had her this dream of the doom of Valyria on the night that she claimed Valerion, says that the dreams come from dragons, or definitely lays weight to the theory.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, then the dragons are maybe psychic and they know what's going on. And Sea Smoke maybe knew that he was needed and that Adam was the right man for the job.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Love to know what's going on inside those dragon heads.
Yeah, I think they know when the time's right, don't they? Because look how long it took Aemond to claim a dragon, and then the dragon that he finally claimed.
Yeah, absolutely.
She must have sensed something in him.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe she sensed evil.
Well, let's remember that Vhagar is Visenya's dragon. And if the dragon rider spirits merge with the dragon and everything, then he's got a little bit of Visenya in him. She has a little bit of Visenya in her.
Yeah.
Nana does. And yeah, Visenya was a dark character who made some very questionable choices and maybe a couple of sly murders. She would have been proud of Aemond. Oh, definitely. She would have liked him. But, you know, like, only the Visenyas of this world can raise the Maegors of this world.
Well, yes.
Or apparently the Alicents. So what else did we have in the dragons section? We had dragons in the Vale.
Yep.
Well, like we said, there was evidence of sheep stealer who's raging more broadly for food. It started to look like Rhaena is heading towards sheep stealer. So sorry, book fans, it looks like Nettles is out. Yet to be confirmed, but we should have seen her by now.
Yeah.
The episode that, or one of the episodes that was chopped off the end of the season was supposed to be the Battle of the Gullet, which is, it's not a spoiler, that was very clear in what was happening in the build up to that. That's what was happening. That was what was coming very soon. And the character Nettles from the books does play a part in the Battle of the Gullet. So if she has not made her appearance by the end of this season, then it looks like it's that they're giving a lot of her storylines to Rhaena, which is questionable, but we'll maybe talk about that a little bit in a spoiler section at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we saw little baby Stormcloud.
Very cute.
So cute. We haven't seen a little baby dragon since season 1 or season 2 of Game of Thrones. So that was really cool to see. I loved that. What else did we have? And of course, Syrax. Now that's how to mount a dragon.
Yes. Nice to see Syrax properly again.
It was. We haven't seen Syrax all season. So, I mean, Rhaenyra just took off in Syrax at the end of the episode, so I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of her in the next episode. So that'll be cool. But all round, fantastic dragon action this week.
Yeah.
Sea Smoke, when he lands in front of Adam after chasing him. It was just so cool. But when he lands, and it's like a handbrake turn.
Yeah.
The way Sea Smoke lands in front of him, and then comes right up to his face. And poor Adam's like, oh my God, what's happening? But then there's just this moment where they connect.
Yeah.
Adam finally the eyes connect, and Adam's fears just wash away, and they're just, it was like seeing the dragon
watching the bond happen.
Yes, absolutely. I loved it. I loved it. It was absolutely brilliant. Sea Smoke is, at this point, my favourite dragon.
They zinged.
But yeah, Sea Smoke's my favourite because it's shown the most personality at this stage, if you ask me.
Yeah. My favourite was Caraxes, but yeah, Sea Smoke's going
Sea Smoke's definitely coming up the ranks. Definitely. Caraxes was my favourite too. Caraxes is I think Caraxes has probably shown the most personality up to now.
Yes.
We've seen Caraxes get mad when Daemon's mad. We've seen Caraxes show pain when Daemon's hurt.
Yeah.
We've seen Caraxes like that moment with Alice, when Daemon was talking to Alice Rivers, and Daemon just walked out the door and he's like, ready to go, boss?
Yeah.
He's just
some really loving moments with them as well, which has been really nice.
I think we've seen the strongest dragon bond between, it's a toss-up between Daemon and Caraxes and Rhaenys and Mellys. There was some connection going on in that one, I have to say. We can't let that slide.
No.
It's still raw. I missed her. I've missed her these last couple of episodes. Thankfully, Bela gave us some Rhaenys-esque lines. There was nothing really in episode 6 that gave me that Rhaenys feeling.
No.
But she will definitely be missed on our podcast. Good work to Eve Best. So that brings us to our RIP section. Oh,
it does.
So in episode 5, as far as death was concerned, I can't think of any new. You look like you're almost thinking of something.
Who was the old guy that died? Was that episode 5?
That was episode 5. 6. That was episode 6.
Was it 6?
Yeah. And in episode 6, we said goodbye, first of all, to Sir Stephen Darklyn.
Not another Darklyn.
Thought I'd be able to keep a straight face. Another
again,
Darkling soldier.
We've said goodbye to another Darkling soldier.
Oh dear.
Rest in peace. We also said goodbye to
Lord Grover Tully. Not a character we've ever met, but his death is definitely significant.
Yes.
To the story going forward. And
a blessing for him, I believe.
Yes, he was very, very sick.
We also said goodbye to the dragon looker after dude.
The dragon keeper.
Yes.
That's the word.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a rather brutal way to go, but it looked like he was prepared.
He was organised until the end.
And finally, we said goodbye to Adam of Hull's underwear.
May it rest in pieces.
Oh dear. If we could make it through one of those RIPs without laughing.
Oh, that would be good.
Oh dear. Well, that brings us to fun facts. So the cool fun fact that we have not mentioned that I took from the behind the scenes was that fantastic shot of Viserys with Aegon in his bed, which was a parallel of Viserys in the same bed as he was dying.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Did you not get that
no,
in
didn't put that
behind
together.
the scenes? No, it was in the behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, but I didn't.
You missed it.
Yeah.
There was there was this stunning parallel of Aegon on one side of the bed with Alicent standing beside him, and then you can put that shot side by side with Viserys on the other side of the bed with Alicent standing beside him.
That's cool.
So that was quite interesting. I really like that. And other than that, we've just got the IMDb fun facts for this episode. I'm going to tell you right now that the episode 5 fun facts weren't fun. So
factual, but not fun.
But that's because episode 5 wasn't really fun.
No, it was not.
In fact, I'm going to call it right now that was the weakest episode of House of the Dragon to date.
Yes.
I'm not saying there wasn't things I enjoyed in it. There absolutely was, but it was the weakest to date. Which I'm surprised by because it was a Claire Kilner episode and I usually love those. Mm-hmm. But not this time. Do you have any fun facts for this episode?
Absolutely not.
Because Emma did not do her homework. Actually, Emma has done some fantastic homework lately in regards to our future YouTube videos, but those are top secret at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. Hush, hush. Can't tell you anything that's going on with that at all.
So in regards to something we were actually talking about in our last episode, the funnest fun fact for me is this. The Targaryen sigils in this episode show the correct two-legged dragon for both the blacks and the greens, rather than the previously incorrect four-legged dragon version noted by George R.R. Martin.
Yep.
Yay! See, when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's so funny. We were just talking about it in the last episode. It's been wrong since the beginning.
Yeah.
And yet, the episode we talk about it, they change it the next week. They must be listening to us, Emma.
Love that.
That's it. HBO are listening to our podcast. The Rains of Castamere can be heard in the music when the Lannister army marches at the beginning of the episode, which was originally used in Game of Thrones. I went back and after reading this fun fact, I had a look at the scene again, and it's not the Rains of Castamere song, but the melody, the motif from the Rains of Castamere is heavily influencing the music that is there. Let's say.
Right, okay.
They're using the same chordal progression and a slower version with a few of the notes in there just to make you get that Rains of Castamere feel.
Yeah, like that time I could hear an Aerosmith song in season 1.
Something like that, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's definitely, the music was absolutely 100% inspired from the Rains of Castamere. At the end of the day, it's all Ramin Djawadi. He's taken he's just restyled the original into something that suited that scene.
Yeah.
But you can definitely hear the Rains of Castamere motif within the music. And I've already mentioned this one about Simon Russell Beale having his honorific title of Sir being dropped. So just bring that back around again, just because it deserves a second mention, I think. Shocking. The man is a knight. He should be respected as such. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. So to wrap things up, I'm going to start doing these little questions at the end.
Oh, joy.
So what do you think the episode was about, Emma, overall?
Well, what I would like to say on that front is it was 2 episodes.
Yes.
Which one?
First one, let's go with episode 5.
I stalled for time. I have no idea. Well, episode 5, I genuinely think it was the Wednesday episode that just gave us little bits of stuff to...
It was Hump Day, yeah.
It was Hump Day, but it was the aftermath of the best episode of both seasons.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
agree. I agree.
It was just little bits of stuff that led us up to episode 6.
Yeah.
Not hard to follow, however, hard to note take.
Yeah.
Episode 6, really enjoyed that. Plenty of dragon stuff going on, and really moving along with the story.
Yeah.
So, episode 6 was the better of the 2.
Yeah.
Action-wise.
Yeah.
I didn't hate episode 5. I don't hate any of it.
I don't hate any of it, no.
It was a lot.
It was, yeah, definitely.
Great acting, though. Absolutely great acting. Fab dialogue in episode 5. If we're going to, I'd rather end on a positive. Yeah, those are the positives from episode 5.
Yeah.
Positives from episode 6. Just love those fucking dragons, man.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the same. I thought episode 5 was... It was a hump day, it was a filler episode, but it was also necessary.
Yeah.
There has to be a calm after the storm.
Yeah.
There has to be a moment of reflection when something so significant has just happened.
Absolutely. And you have to move it in another direction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt everything that happened in that episode was necessary. It was just so somber that I think it felt a bit flat.
Yeah.
But I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
At the same time. I think that's what they were trying to do.
Directed and written correctly.
Yeah.
Just how do you
follow that action?
How do you come down for that high?
Exactly.
Wow.
And it is. And at the end of the day, for our characters, there's no calm after that. I think Gwen and Criston are probably the biggest example of that.
Yeah.
They're a little bit broken and they'll never be the same again after episode 4.
Oh, neither will Aegon.
No, they won't. I don't think Aegon's had a chance to deal with it emotionally yet, though. He's in so much physical pain.
Yeah. Yeah, he's literally broken.
Yeah, definitely. But episode 6, I thought was a great episode. I thought the writing was fantastic. I thought there was great plot development and it was really funny. And I think the episode truly was about it was about the Smallfolk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was about the consequences and the damage of war.
Yeah.
I think to put a finer point on it, the consequences.
Yeah.
And progression and moving forward as well. You know, moving forward after the events of the previous episodes. So, next question, totally shorter answer for this one, would be, what was your favourite scene from each episode?
Favourite scene from episode 5 would be... It was actually Corlys with his tears.
With on his own, the opening scene?
Yeah, in the Hall of Nine.
Yeah.
But that was actually my favourite scene. It was...
I was going to say, the next question is favourite performance. Would you...
No, that was my favourite scene.
Right.
Because I just felt there were no words. It was just really powerful. It was a powerful scene.
Okay.
Favourite scene from episode 6 was... It was the nose to nose.
The what?
The nose to nose.
Oh, right, okay, with Adam and Sea Smoke.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
What about you?
So, my favourite scene from episode 5 would have to be the High Valyrian conversation between Aegon and Aemond.
Yeah.
It was by far my favourite scene of that episode. It was so funny. And for episode 6, oh God, there's so many.
There is a lot.
As you can tell by this podcast episode that has so many clips in it.
Yep.
Oh, right, okay. I think it would have to be Shush. When Sir Simon shushes Daemon, that was probably my favourite scene. Your favourite performance then? Who stood out for you in these episodes?
Episode 5. Well, again, it was Corlys.
Corlys.
Yeah, right. I really liked him in episode 5. Episode 6, I think Mysaria was my favourite.
Okay, good. Right, why?
I just like how... I like the dimensions of her character within that scene with Rhaenyra. I like that she's honest but deviant, loving and selfish, worldly and guarded. She's great.
So that's very insightful. I like that. That's a good analysis of Mysaria. I can't help but agree with you. But I'm going to give my favourite performance for episode 5 to the Lady Baela.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think she owned that. And my favourite performance of episode 6, I think I'm going to give it to Daemon.
Yeah?
I think... to Matt Smith specifically. Who's the actress that plays Baela? Because I think for performance we're giving it to actresses and actors, I suppose. What is the name of that lady? We'll just move on from that. We'll try and remember that next time. I'm going to give it to Matt Smith because I think the arc of emotions from him in that episode, from that absolute paranoid meltdown with Simon and from Simon Strong, and then to where he was at the end when he found out Grover Tully had died and he just had that dream about Viserys and he just sobbed. It was just the emotional journey that he went on. I think Matt Smith just delivered it fantastically.
I'm really sad that you've left out the squatting on a rock looking perplexed section.
I'm sorry.
The bit where he's like sat on the rock, like, no idea what's going on in my life here. Like, I just love this face acting in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it's coming back. Now we get what you're saying. And yeah, but that's what I mean. Like Matt just owned it. He is owning it. And you know what? As much as I'm a bit bored with this Blum and Daemon Dream storyline, it is being dragged out a bit long.
Yeah.
It has, we've been at this since episode 2 now. And we're now on 6, and we've had, and I get that he's on a journey of self-discovery or something like that, or I don't know, the werewolves are trying to get him to kill everyone. Who knows? Something's going on with him, and I get it's a journey, but I just, I'm a little bit bored of it, but at the same time, Matt's owning it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
He's done a fantastic job. So my performance of the week goes to Matt Smith. Shall we make it a gold star? Gold star of the week. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of our podcast. So thanks very much for joining us again, people. And please send us in your feedback and comments. We will be back next time with the final 2 episodes of this season, 7 and 8, which are called
The Red Sewing and The Queen Who Ever Was.
Interesting titles. Well, I know what The Red Sewing is because I've read the books, so I'm excited.
So have I, but I have a brain made of cheese and a sieve, obviously.
Well,
anyway,
I'm sure it will be entertaining, or I'm certainly expecting big things. So Emma will now tell you how to contact us.
If you want to contact us, you can head over to our website, theunrealhour.com, where you can find links to our social media and Patreon to review, like, follow and subscribe. You can also leave us a voice message that we may use on the show. Finally, you can email us at talk@theunrealhour.com.
And if you like what we're doing here and you want to support the show, then you can visit patreon.com/theunrealhour, where you can subscribe for ad-free listening, early access episodes and exclusive content. Or you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/theunrealhour. All your donations will go back into the show to cover costs and keep the lights on. Once again, thanks for listening. Until next time, keep it unreal.